Hey guys, welcome back to Umineko. Apparently my headset was not broken. For some reason my computer was having the sound be defaulted through my earbuds still, even though they were unplugged. So I had to change the default setting, whatnot, for my audio, and now I can hear the beautiful sounds from this visual novel once again. The second day, okay. Was it someone's alarm clock? Beep beep, an electronic tone repeatedly rang out through the room. Butler, who had gone down to bed late and not managed to get enough sleep, covered his head in his blanket and waited for someone to turn off the alarm. But no matter how much time passed, the electronic tone didn't stop. You see, the point of an alarm clock isn't just to be loud enough to wake you, but to be annoying enough to keep you from wanting to fall back asleep. Hey, the alarm's going off. I could stop, please. Why do waking up voices always get this annoyed? Well, it doesn't make sense. After all, people are still sleepy and in a bad mood. However, this was absolutely no sign that my annoyed voice had caused anyone to turn over in their sleep or call out of bed to stop the alarm. Laying out a deep sigh, I stumbled to my feet. With the shutters down on the windows, there was almost no light getting in, and the room was as dim as it had been earlier. Though, even without the shutters, there's no way this dull weather would let in enough sun to make this a pleasant morning. The cousins were still wrapped up in their beds, sound asleep and taking no notice whatsoever of that beeping. Normally, once one person gets up, the others tend to automatically follow. Annoyed that this lull of serial summer camp awakenings had been broken, I searched for the source of the sound. I could hear it coming from a wristwatch set on a table. Judging by the style of the watch, it's probably George Aniki's. Anyway, then I randomly pushed the small button on the side of it. The sound stopped. Apparently, it had been set for 7 o'clock in the morning. Is it already 7? Sorry, but I really don't feel like I slept at all. Playing cards were left on the table, so they had stopped mid-game. The game had probably been 7s. Damn it, I've got this piercing headache. What the hell happened last night? That mountain of gold and the subsequent arguments between the relatives all feel like a bad dream. So stupid. Breakfast normally came at 8 o'clock, and now it's about time to start getting up and getting dressed. Even those adults probably won't argue in front of the cousins. In that case, I'll stay with my cousins all day long. I'm sure they'll be able to separate me from all this annoying talk about the gold and being the successor and all. In fact, I should have done this from the beginning. I felt disgusted having slept with my clothes on last night, which caused me to get all sweaty. Guess I'll take a shower. I'm sure the others want to as well. At this age, it's embarrassing to wake them by shaking their shoulders. If I turn on the TV on, everyone will probably wake up. Well, at least turn the lights on for now. This damn light with the quiet sound of the never-ending wind and rain. It really doesn't feel like morning has come yet. I flipped the light switch, and then that dimly lit morning ended. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Are murders actually going to happen this time around? George, this is just too horrible. How could anyone get away with something like this? As they clung to Aniki's corpse, which would never wake up again. So George died still? Why? And Eva and Uncle Hiroshi cried. That's enough. Do you think George Cotton would like the two of you to see him this way? Of course not. Aniki, I know how you feel, but let's have the Dr. Nanjo handle this. You don't understand. George was killed. George. Dr. Nanjo's right. We mustn't keep staring at George in such a state. This is for George's sake. We have to restrain ourselves for now. When Aunt Eva tried even harder to cling to that corpse, Dad and Uncle Hiroshi dragged her away and had a heated debate with her beside the wall. No, George. Dr. Nanjo, help him. If he's lost too much blood, do a blood transfusion. George and I are the same blood type. I beg you. Dr. Nanjo, Eva-san, it pains you to say this, but your blood can't do George Gunn any good now. Dr. Nanjo shook his head slightly, then nodded across to where I stood, giving me a signal. I softly pulled the blanket up, covering George Aniki's corpse. His neck was split wide open. It was probably larger and deeper than his mouth. Would covering that part up make the corpse look neat and clean? Of course not. The large amount of lost blood stained the bed a horrible red and black, and even covering him with the blanket couldn't hide the traces. After all, even the blanket had large red black stains, and covering him with it made his corpse look even more gruesome. So I stripped the blanket off of my bed and placed it on top of the first one. But there were only 2 extra blankets, so if we covered one more of the corpses, we wouldn't be able to cover any more. I feel bad about the ones we can't cover, but for some reason, times like this make me feel like muttering, don't complain about it being unfair inside my head. Kari put blankets over all of them, wouldn't want them to catch cold. Sure. Kari's trying to start covering the other corpses up to their heads with their blankets, just like George and Nikki's. Okay, so everyone, all the cousins are dead then. But he solved the epitaph, man. You can't kill nobody now. So they wouldn't have to undergo any more shame with their terrible wounds exposed like this. In one bed rested Jessica. Jessica was exactly the same as George and Nikki, though she appeared to be resting quietly in the bed. Her neck had been slashed deep and the wound lay open in a brutal way. Mariah was the same, and not only Mariah, there was one more victim, but lying on the same bed as they've been sleeping alongside each other was Aunt Rosa. George and Nikki, Jessica, Mariah, and Aunt Rosa. In this room were 4 humans who had been killed, their necks sliced open. They'd probably been like that since last night. I'd returned without noticing anything, got in bed and fallen asleep. All of them had a horizontal cut across their throats. I had been forced to see all the way into the depths of those gashes in everyone's throats. At worst, the wounds might have been deep enough to stretch halfway through their necks. If you tried to open it up, you'd probably be able to see that gash reached all the way to the bone. The only wounds were the single gash on each neck, so if you just cover their necks with your hand, you might be able to persuade yourself that they were merely sleeping. But even so, this frighteningly deep wound was incredibly gruesome. There's no such thing as clean or dirty ways of killing. All methods of killing are equally brutal, but even so, the brutality here was just horrible. And there was one more thing that adorned these brutal murders, making them even more unsettling. Drawn very large on the wall was something like an eerie magic circle. It was drawn in a bright red paint that looked like blood, and made it look as though some creepy ceremony had taken place in this room, with the 4 of them offered as human sacrifices. However, that wasn't what we were concerned about. No one has a heart so cold that they could witness the deaths of those close to them, and still worry about some scribbles on the wall. And yes, she's still alive. I mean, I'm not trying to sound awful, but I'm just saying how she's still alive. Good morning, everyone. Oh, what a wonderful magic circle. The girl who bragged that she drew more pleasure from the process of exposing truth than the truth itself, and who went so far as to call herself an intellectual rapist, appeared in the hall. And when she saw the extraordinarily creepy magic circle in this gruesome room, I heard what was unmistakably a sigh of admiration escape her lips. You don't come in here. I just heard about it in the corridor. It's 4 people who passed away, correct? Allow me to express my sincere regrets. On Erica's face, that's not it. It was in her eyes. In Erica's eyes, I could see an indiscreet smile that was hard to describe. She found this interesting. She found the outbreak of a crime interesting. It was like the smile of a kid up to the side of a stage just before her turn to appear in a school play. Sorry, Erica-chan, we're busy at the moment. Could you wait in your room? Well, we can't have that. It's the detective's right to investigate the scene. We're saying that we had no business with you. Now's the time for outsiders like you to stand back. In my personal opinion, only third-rate mysteries that I suspect who tries to interfere with the investigation and then turns out to be the culprit. Who gives a damn about what you want? Get out. You aren't wanted here. Erica-chan, I'm really sorry, but could you go back to your room? We're busy right now. George, why? Stand back. I can't investigate the scene like this. If it's necessary, we'll do it ourselves. The police will do it. Like hell, you have the right to bring more shame to everyone's remains than they've already endured. Detective's authority. The detective has the right to inspect all crime scenes. Stand back, Ushamir Battler. This is an official privilege of this game which the human side has accepted. Those words would seem to be utterly ridiculous at first, were words of power that come from a world on a much higher plane than the one they were in. Battler was thrown back by an unseen power and landed on his butt. Struck silent by this quiet intensity, nobody was able to prevent Erica from entering the room, suffocated by the bizarre atmosphere. Don't worry, my goal is not to profane the dignity of the deceased. It's not like I want to peek into something that's disgusting as a slit through someone's neck. I want to know something completely different. In other words, who committed these murders? I asked Dr. Naja and anyone else too. In particular, the first one to discover them, Battler's son. There are many things I want to question you about, so I request your cooperation. Like I said, but what authority are you doing this? Because I am the detective, Battler couldn't argue against this incomprehensible nonsense. No, he wasn't permitted to argue. It was a restriction placed on pieces. Erica summoned Dr. Hunter and heard the details of his preliminary examination of the corpses. Normally, he wouldn't have spoken of that to an outsider so casually. However, for some reason, the atmosphere about the place had become in one which hiding things from Erica was forbidden. Okay, let's enjoy this first Twilight of Lambdas. 4 corpses, that's 2 corpses short. Well, she doesn't necessarily need to have 6 people killed, but that's how we've been playing. The girl isn't completely clueless, so she must have killed 2 more people somewhere. On the wall was a magic circle representing the first Twilight, similar to the one in Beto's games. Hee, that girl talks tough, but I wonder just how closely she'll be able to imitate Beto. Yeah, that Hebrew sure is crappy. It wasn't written exactly right. Oh yeah, I forgot about her and the rest. What the heck? What's going on? Why is there a magic circle? I bet they wanted to copy Beatrice-sama. With a crappy magic circle. This isn't just a copycat. Some human went out of their way to draw that so they could make it look like Beatrice-sama did this. Anyway, let's report to Beatrice-sama about this. Even though we're already up to our eyeballs just protect the ghost with secret, what a pain. But these murders have no beauty to them at all. It isn't really a closed room and there's nothing impossible about it. Such pitiful murders aren't worthy of Beatrice-sama at all. Fruto Erica, an unexpected crime and an unexpected woman, and the unexpected man from 19 years ago. And if you add in the fact that Battler's already solved the epitaph, this game is completely different from normal. What the heck's going on? Let's go. Yes, Oni-sama. Okay, guys, I'm taking a few-minute break here. In the kitchen, Guda was preparing a wonderful breakfast at a brisk pace. The main dish would be herb omelets, and simple foods could become an invigorating feast under Guda's skillful hands. He would pre-cook everything beforehand and prepare the food in the dining hall right before everyone's eyes. Pan. Guda hummed as he continued his work in high spirits. When Shannon, who was helping out, saw Guda like this, her mood also brightened. She arranged the salad in a neat little pattern and showed it to Guda. How is this? I think it makes a tomato look a bit cute. Very nice. You really know what you're doing, Shannon said. The two happy people gave each other a high five. Shannon didn't like Guda when he was sneaky, but she had no problems at all with that when he was cooking happily. She sometimes even thought it'd be nice if his contract hadn't included any jobs besides cooking. If that had been the case, he wouldn't have to get in a bad mood doing unnecessary jobs. The dining hall is ready. You can carry it whenever you want. We're almost good to go, so please get the serving cart ready. Without even thinking, Kuma saw Guda's high spirits. The kitchen had a very nice smell and atmosphere about it. It's really refreshing for so early in the morning. Oops, I just hit my mic. Then Ken came back grumpy even this early in the morning, just like he always was. Ken and Genji were in charge of getting many things ready for the morning, such as opening the curtains. However, Ken was alone today, so it took much longer than usual. I'm done. Where's Genji-sama? He still isn't here. That's odd. I can't imagine he'd sleep in. Oh, I guess even Genji-san sleeps in sometimes. That's rather careless of him, considering that this is the middle of the family conference. Ken and San, could you wake him up for us? Yes. I wonder what Genji-san's face looks like when he's half asleep. Oh, let me go with you. Even though Guda had asked her to get the serving cart ready, Kuma-sama plodded off after Kenan slyly skipping work, as Kenan muttered about how Guda was the one who slept in all the time. He headed for the server waiting room. So you didn't wake him up this morning, Kenan said. Last night I fell asleep while still in the serving room, so I didn't return to the waiting room. Last night Kenan had dozed off all in the middle of his late night shift, falling asleep in the servant room. Shouldn't have been caught enough to put a blanket on him, but that just made it so warm that he fell into even deeper sleep, so he hadn't returned to his bed, even the servant waiting room the previous night. Because of that, he hadn't met Genji even once this morning. There was a knock on the door. Genji-sama, is Kenan. Good morning. Oh my, I wonder if he's still sleeping. Pardon me. When he tried to open the door, Kenan noticed something strange on the upper part of it. What's that? Packing tape? A small strip of packing tape was stuck along the frame of the door, almost as though it was sealing the door shut. Furthermore, there were notches made with scissors along the center of the packing tape, so that if you opened the door, only a slight amount would be torn apart. Also written sloppily across the packing tape with a thin pen was what appeared to be someone's signature. It was written in a very intricate and decorative manner, so even if it was a signature, there's no way of telling who it was. It was probably some sort of prank. I don't get it, but it's no use worrying about it now. Genji-sama, pardon me. The packet tape tore apart and he opened the door. It wasn't as though anything happened when it split, so the two quickly forgot about that strange tape. The room was dimly lit. The lower bed of the two-level bunk bed still had a lump under the blanket. Apparently Genji was still sleeping. Good morning, Genji-sama. This isn't like you, it's morning. Genji-sama. Eek, what is this? What is this? There was a large red black stain on the blanket. Even the servants' blankets were always kept clean. A stain like that definitely shouldn't have been there. Kenan hesitantly peeled back Genji's blanket, saw what was left of him, and was shocked into silence. But what the heck? His neck's been cut open. It's thin. You wouldn't be able to leave a cut this deep without a fairly long blade. Well, what's going on? Butler solved the riddle of the epitaph, right? Why are there murders happening? I don't know. In any event, this isn't good. We should report this to Beatrice-sama and Natsuhi-sama. Belfa, hurry and report to Lucini. Understood. After dashing out, Kume-sama called Goda and shut over. Then this new parallel of screams identical to the first two. No! Don't stop making breakfast, Goda. It's now really the time to be saying that. There's no chance we'll have a quiet and peaceful breakfast on the second day. I have a bad feeling about this. Genji might not be the only one. Let's check the entire mansion. Something else might have happened. Yes, Oni-sama. Natsuhi sprang awake at the sudden sound of the phone. Even Natsuhi was surprised as she woken up. She thought she spent the whole night unable to sleep out of fear that the mysterious man might come in at any moment, but she dozed off before she knew it. Of course, Natsuhi didn't feel rested at all. Though she groaned from the dull pain in her head, which hadn't gone away since last night, she managed to get out of bed. Morning, Natsuhi-sama. Morning. And what a horrible morning it is. Don't worry, no one tried to enter this room. I see. Thanks for keeping watch all night, even so that it means she'd been able to sleep peacefully. The continued ringing of the phone made her headache throb even more strongly. I think you should probably answer the phone, and then I got some bad news to report from my sisters. Let's leave the bad news for later. I'll answer the phone first. Natsuhi shook her head to wake herself and picked up the receiver. Then she regretted not listening to Lucifer's bad news first, because she wanted the first thing she heard on this horrible morning to be something better than this. Morning, Mother. Did you sleep well? That voice told her that this horrible morning, this nightmare would not stop. I kept my promise. I've been holed up in this dream the whole time. Of course, I haven't been on the phone neither. But you did pick up the phone just now, did you not? Well, just kidding. This is just the morning call I'm giving my beloved mother. Morning, Mother. However, how far do you intend to mock me? Not so you gripped the receiver so hard it creaked. I wanted you to leave your seat so that I could sit up for the party. Thanks to that, everything is ready now. Of course, you are the main guest, Mother. What are you planning to do? That is for you to look forward to. Do you not worry? I will not keep you waiting. It has already begun. Oh, right away. Right, wait a second. There's something I want you to hear. Someone I want you to hear. Huh? There was the sound of a receiver being jolted around. The phone was apparently being passed to someone else, but there was a clunking, clattering noise, as though it was taking a lot of effort to hand the receiver over. Who in the world could he be giving the phone to? No matter who this man gives the phone to, that can be good news for me. Go out and tie me, coward. Huh? Dear, is that you? Untie it. It was without a doubt the voice of her husband. However, he didn't respond to Natsuhi's voice. Perhaps he was bound somewhere in the darkness. Cross, not realizing what Natsuhi was on the other end of the phone, repeatedly demanded that he be untied. Your husband is here. His eyes and ears are covered, so you won't be able to talk. But I think you could tell that he is in perfect health. What would he do after? Let my husband go. I will let him go tomorrow, if you keep two promises, that is. Where are they? One is that you keep it a secret that I have your husband in my care, and there will probably be a fuss when they are unable to find Cross anywhere in the mansion. But you know nothing, so you will say nothing. Understand? I understand. What's your other condition? Oh, just a little game. At 1 o'clock today, you will go into the foremost guest room on the first floor of the mansion and hide in the closet. A guest room? Why should I go into the closet? Just a little hide and seek. If you can hide there for an hour without anyone finding you, you win. If someone does find you, you lose. And if I lose, what happens? Nothing in particular. Is that not what playing is all about? If you play along with the sign and seek, I will release your husband tomorrow. Will you really keep that promise? I wonder. Of course. Make sure you do it too, Mother. If you break our promise, we'll know right away. At that time, there was suddenly a loud knock on the door, and now Sweet's from her heart leapt automatically. Madame, are you there? Good morning. It's Goda and Cannon. Madame, please wake up. The voice is coming from across the door where Cannon and Goda's. The knock had been walled, and the voice is a little shrill. It seemed that something strange had happened, and that they were agitated. What is it? Did something happen? It's nothing. It looks like the servants have arrived. I'm hanging up. Sure, I've said everything I wanted to, so do not break our promise. I understand, and you don't break our promise either. You have it wrong. That is for you to decide, Mother. Do not make me break my promise, Mother. I will be watching you all day today, Mother. Yow. Clank. Lambda Delta slammed the receiver down on the antique phone, then the phone exploded into bits and became a golden splash, then a cloud of gold butterflies, and then disappeared. He danced for me, Natsu. He danced in fear of your sin 19 years ago. My turns are going pretty well. Okay, your turn now, burn. I'm sure this is a waste of time, but let me confirm whether correspondence with the outside world, including reporting to the police, is possible or not. It's impossible to make use of the external line. It looks like you can use the internal line. It's impossible to use a boat inside the Typhoon. I guess the closed circle is complete now. Congrats, you're a full detective now, burn. When the police intervene, they sometimes steal some of the detective's authority. However, with the construction of the closed circle, the existence of the police have been denied for all eternity. From now on, the authority of the detective piece will be totally guaranteed. Yeah, thanks a bunch, and I guess it's time to get this game started. Erica, you're the main character. Now begin. Okay, guys, so I'm going to take another quick break here. Okay, even Genji-san, 5 people have been killed? Yes, and it was so horrible. It was exactly the same as the 4 in the guest house. Her neck was sliced open with a terribly sharp blade. It's to think that even though I had midnight shift, I didn't notice anyone suspicious. Don't blame yourself. If you bump into the culprit, you might be the one dead right now. On top of that, the phones are even connected. I doubt any boats will come in this weather. This is serious, and that makes it very likely the culprit's still nearby. Eek, then what? Does that mean we'll be trapped here with our murderer until the Typhoon passes and the boats come? It'll be okay if we all stay together like this. Even the culprit won't be able to lay a finger on us. Even Jessica, I can't believe it. We won't let ourselves be killed. I'll avenge George. I won't let them get away. No matter who the culprit is or what their reason was, I won't let the one who killed George get away. I'll kill them. Ah! Okay, everyone, are you done crying yet? Silence, please. Has anyone seen Cross-Sun yet? We've been calling him for a while, but he hasn't answered. Could the receiver be off the hook? No, we could hear it ringing. There's no way he didn't hear it. What does that mean? You don't think Uncle Cross too? Figures. I hate to say it at the time like this, but there were 4 in the guest house plus Genji to make 5. I figured there would be 1 more. Why? How could you know that? Are you the culprit? Did you kill George? Stop it, Eva-san. Now is not the time. Eva got agitated and grabbed the Kyrie, nudged herself in between them and grew into a bit of a scuffle. Watching this, Erica smiled condescendingly and shrugged. Of course, especially the guests. There were 6 victims of the scene, the crime scene in the guest house. There were only 4 corpses, so it'd make you wonder who the other 2 were. How could you know such a thing? You killed them. You killed George. Quit it, Eva. Erica-chan and Kairi-san, how can you know that? Can't you think before you talk? It's a simple connection to make. The scribble drawn at the scene of the crime in the guest house was a magic circle. I just try to think of things connected to both magic and murders. So it's the epitaph, huh? I see. It's the first twilight. What's going on? Well, I don't have a clue either. Is it how that is, damn witch? So this is really Beatrice almost doing. Why do y'all keep talking as if you know something? I don't have a clue. Someone explain. I told you, Eva, calm down a bit. That's how it is. Ever since I saw the magic circle at the crime scene, I imagine this might be a plotline murder following the epitaph's first twilight, which would mean there are 6 victims. Simply by the existence of the magic circle in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuto Erica. What do you think, everyone? So Uncle Cross was also killed. We can't be sure of that. Cross-on isn't the only person who hasn't come here, right? There's one more. For just an instant, Natsu's brow furrowed. So she had been able to avoid the topic of the study after all. You don't mean Dad? Hey, someone must have conducted the study, right? Of course, we called and even knocked on the door, but there was no answer. My father has immersed himself in his research. He sometimes leaves the receiver off the hook because he doesn't want to be called and even ignores any knocking. But the phone was ringing. Anyway, let's first check to see that my husband's safe. Let's go to his room. That's when he stood up in a flurry and dashed out onto the corridor. Rudolph and the others immediately chased after her, telling her to wait. Come on, let's all go together. In both third-rate mysteries and third-rate horrors, people who act alone tend to die first. Yeah, this game is just the same. Pito really is third-rate. How about in the third-rate disaster movies and third-rate action movies? People who act alone do survive, right? Weird. Even though the Epitaph has already been solved, who's behind this farce? It might be the work of this man from 19 years ago who is thought to be Lady Lambda Delta's piece. Ah, yes, that can't be true. In the games of denial, Birito has already stated that Kenzo has vanished, meaning that no more than 70 people exist, and no 18th person exists. Now that Erica has been added, it's been stated that no 19th person exists. There's no room for this man from 19 years ago to be here on this island. So the man from 19 years ago is also disguised as one of the existing humans, or else, even if a 19th person isn't permitted by the red, slipping in a 19th person is no trouble for me, no trouble for witches. Now it's getting interesting. Why don't we watch this a little longer? Still, those two witches have finally started to do whatever they please with my game board, haven't they? Didn't you know that would happen when you invited them? As a witch, I have the same dislike for boredom as they do. Even the unexpected brings the kind of joy a witch expects. Very well, bring it on. It's great that you're so eager, but things have been taking a nasty turn. Get it? Indeed. Perhaps this isn't the best time to wait and see what happens next. I know that at this rate, Kenzo's existence will become an issue once again, and the barrier around the study won't last long. That isn't all. Things are going to get even worse. See? You move on. Move 1, move 2, move 3, and then you're cornered, Natsuhi. Gap whispers something to Bito's ear. Bito's mouth slowly widened to a grin. Erica, bringing everyone together is actually convenient for us. All darkness outside the range of observers belongs to us demons. This may be the only time to make that move. Natsuhi is the key, and she can't move far, but we cannot allow her to be taken. Let's take the initiative. If we slip up here, Natsuhi will be cornered. Gap, can I count on you? Of course, I'll blow a hole through the closed room tricks, alibis, and mysteries alike. Leave it to me and I'll handle it. Gap was swallowed up along with the chair she sat in and to the pitch black hole that opened on the floor and disappeared. After that, a hole opened on the ceiling and spat just the chair back out, returning the place to the way it had been. This is becoming troublesome. I see. Against Lady Lambda Delta, even I am nothing more than a mere piece. So in the early game, I must worry more about expansion than losing or taking pieces. I'm just no match for that person. I won't let her do that. Not so he's the final master I will serve. I know that this is a piece she'll never be able to take, so as long as she has a contract with me, Beatrice. Cross's room was empty. The bed was too, but massive bloodstains similar to the other crime scenes remained. But there was no corpse. Nope. Then he isn't dead. Maybe not. What's going on? Where's Nissan? Judging by this blood-stained bed, I don't like to think about it, but you probably should assume that he was killed and had his neck cut open just like the people in the guest house. Probably. Judging by the amount of blood loss, it's hard to imagine that he's okay. But where did Cross Summer go? Large amounts of blood stained on the top of the bed, but there was no similar marks on the floor of the room. Whether Cross had been seriously wounded and wandered off somewhere or killed and carried somewhere, they had no clue where this somewhere might be. And that's what he knew. Though Cross had been sounding far from his best over the phone, at least he hadn't sounded like he was on the brink of death. In other words, these blood stains had been set up. That might not even be blood. However, just what was that man thinking? What's this supposed to be? What the heck? So on the first twilight, there were 6 sacrifices. Was Krusty-san in the habit of locking his door, or we just came in without unlocking it? Yes, Krusty also has a habit of locking up. At this house, Madame has ordered that all non-public areas be locked. How many keys can unlock Krusty's room? In addition to the one key Krusty held, there's the master keys. All that stuff about keys is a pointless argument. Did you forget that Genji-san is already a victim? His master key is missing. That means all the locks in his mention are meaningless. How boring. In other words, no closed room murders have existed or will exist in this mansion. Sheesh, this is getting to be a pretty boring mystery. Erica left off this murder in disappointment as though it was something she was watching on TV. I can't understand it. Why is her world so different from ours? It's almost like she's in a separate dimension from us. Well, is Jessica also like this in the bed? Yes, that's right. Just like George, her neck was cut. Jessica, let me be with Jessica. I haven't even seen Jessica's face yet. Jessica. Oh, wait up, Natsuhi-san. The culprit might still be hiding nearby. He would be dangerous to let her be alone. Natsuhi flew out of the room and dashed towards the guest house this time. It was only natural. Natsuhi still hadn't even seen Jessica's dying face. Everyone probably thought that. Of course, even Natsuhi was half thinking that. The other half was her desire to shift everyone else's attention away from the study. Strange crimes had occurred, the cult had been discovered, and some relatives had been recommended to be the successor. Even in these twisted circumstances, she had to protect Kenzo's secret. My head was going to be racked by this suffering anyway. Please just let my head explode right now. That way I won't have to suffer any longer. So everyone, for Natsuhi's sake, let's return to the guest house for the time being. Though it's not as though seeing their death face is going to lead to any new developments. Do you even have a heart? A heart? What's that? Just seeing her daughter's death face wouldn't bring Jessica back to life, nor would it heal Natsuhi's anguish. On the contrary, she probably wasted a considerable amount of time before being able to think properly again. This probably sums up Erica's screwed up argument. Just seeing their dying faces won't lead to any new developments. Like hell it won't. Bito's feces have brought about a really interesting change. Okay guys, I'm gonna take another break here real quick. Okay, what in Natsui flew into the custody room on the second floor of the guest house and was struck down by the bloodstained beds and eerie magic circle which looked like it might have been drawn with the victim's blood. Where is Jessica? Where is she? Jessica in that bed. A bed where? Huh? George, where is he? Wait a sec, what the hell is going on here? We made sure to lock this room when we left, right? We cannot be certain the culprit has the master key. Once again, everything was correct. Who cares about that? Where did they go? Where did everyone's corpses go? Hehe, nice trick. Hey, look, it's magic, right? That Gappy's with Bito hit the corpses somewhere with magic. All of us moved together, so you're trying to say that everyone had alibis. Your reasoning goes like this, right? The four of them weren't actually dead, they were just playing dead. Then when no one else was around, they hid somewhere. Am I right? You don't tend to proclaim any of their deaths in red, do you? Of course I won't. Unlike that adult Bito, I won't give red out for free. In that case, I'll be glad to use the blue truth. I can think of many ways to work around something at this level. Sure, go ahead. Blue truth time. Here's the first I can think of. The victims weren't actually dead. They pretended to be dead, then secretly hid themselves somewhere. After all, you haven't proclaimed anyone's death with the red truth. Even through you've been shown their gaping wounds. Wait, even through you've been... Though? What? Okay, anyway, you're still trying that one out in principle as long as there's no red, right? But don't get your hopes up. I'm not giving you a freebie red truth. After all, I just have to deny it all once at the end of the game at 24 o'clock on October 5th. After which side has such a big advantage. It'll be all over. It'd all be over now if that stupid battler was my opponent, but you aren't like that, right, Burn? Of course, anyone could have thought of that silly move. I have more. Second one, Cross carried the corpses off and hid them. You've acted it out so that it looks like you kidnapped Cross and locked them up somewhere, but you might actually be free. Cross has no alibi. Cross hid their corpses. Yeah, that's right. It's not like I proclaimed that Cross was being confined with the red truth. You know how they say you've got to confuse your friends before you can confuse your enemies. So he lied to Natsuhi, making it seem like he'd been captured. And any others? Third one. The corpses were different people in the first place. They were substitute corpses that closely resembled the victims. George and the others were hiding from the beginning and later cleared up those substitute corpses. These corpses were dead from the very beginning, so they don't count towards the number of people on the island. That's messed up. So even though all those people gathered around and saw their dead faces, none of them realized they were substitute corpses. Since we haven't used the red truth, there's a possibility that everyone misidentified all of the corpses. Though if you feel like repeating no one will be misidentified a person, I'll withdraw that claim immediately, okay? No way, I'm not falling for that. The red truth's only useful if you use it with flash, right? I'll take a single truth out of a large pile of blue and smash it with the red. Then the rest of the blue truths will be swallowed up by darkness before you can find out whether they were right or wrong. That darkness is the world of witches. You won't be given any truth at all. Hee 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 hee. Hee hee. The girl acts like she's stupid, but she's not bad at all. She'll never rise to provocation. Looks like she understands the darkness of magic even better than a true game master Beato, and apparently Gap also understood that well. That move of hiding the corpses, it was pretty effective for both Lambda and Beato. In any event, I thought up a full 3 theories about the disappearing corpses. 3 blue wedges for a single riddle. That doesn't mean you can just deny one of those 3. Unless she eliminates all 3 wedges, this riddle has been defeated. That's the ironclad rule of witch hunting. A single wedge isn't nearly enough. Only vampires die from a single stake. Compared to witches, vampires are weak. True witches won't die unless you stab them all over with stakes, right? It's the same with assassins, isn't it? It's only in Japanese manga that you see assassins kill their targets with a single perfect shot. Real assassins will empty out an entire magazine worth of bullets. That's how you do things, right? Of course, it's the same for me. But it's this girl we're talking about, so she might slice it all in two with a single swipe of the red. By simply letting off a few quick lines confirming their deaths cross innocence with the red, she can remove all 3 of my wedges. Well, that's okay. When the red truth does come out, I just need to follow along with it and stab her full of blue wedges again. Hee hee hee. This is how a game of witches plays out. Yeah, it's so fun. Butler's sluggish battles always piss me off, so I'm loving this. Yeah, I understand, Lambda. The first wall is just the beginning of the beginning. It's just a skirmish, right? He wouldn't have it any other way. I'll make you lose pathetically and cry out in regret as you crawl and scratch at the floor. I've almost forgotten the pleasure of grabbing that cute hair of yours and wiping the floor with it as I roll around laughing. The servant waiting room in the mansion had once gone silent. There lay Genji's corpse, with Chapin covered completely with a blanket. In the ceiling of this cramped room, a pitch black hole appeared, captivating legs spread out, a gap floated downwards. Sorry, Genji, you probably want to enjoy your eternal sleep right there, but that's not going to be possible. Please disappear from this place so that you may serve Natsuhi, the final head of the Ushiyama family, even after death. Gab stripped off the blanket as though she said to Genji, who was sleeping peacefully. Then she stared at the deep wound in his neck. That's a nice cut. It must have been made with a single slice. Has anyone who's capable of this manifested yet? Not good. No, has anyone who's capable of this manifested? Okay, not good. I can't think of anyone decent who might be capable of this. It goes without saying, but witches are capable of summoning beings with their strength proportional to their own ability. The great Lady Lambda Delta called that being here as a trump card, 19th person. Even optimistically speaking, this is on par with her own over me. A pitch black hole opened on the bed and Genji disappeared as though the bed has been swallowed him up. Just like before in the guest house, Genji's corpse was also hidden in some unknown place. It was a place that no one could find, look at it neither within this world nor the next. No longer would anyone be able to find their corpses. No longer would anyone be able to confirm their deaths. She carried Genji's corpse to the place of the endless silence, where it would never be disturbed. But when there's no corpse, a person goes missing. When a person is missing, people both suspect they might be the culprit and suspect that they might be victims, truly like the inside of a cat box. The darkness inside of a cat box that'll never be open is where the demons and witches reside. You are a bit too slow, Miss Great Detective. Hee hee. Gap licked her lips and gulped. I wonder why Gap-sama is going around hiding corpses. I don't know, but Gap-sama is pretty cool. She's just so awesome. Don't be stupid. What happened to standing guard? The humans are returning from the guest house. Gap-sama. Yes, let's disperse. This should be enough to give Natsuya a way out. Gap jumped into a pitch black hole that opened near her feet. Mammon said, I'm going in too, and jumped in, followed by Asmo, who said, me too, and hopped in giggling. As Satan hesitated what to do, the hole closed. And you call yourselves members of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory. How childish. So stupid. Satan went bright red and got angry all by herself, then turned into gold butterflies and disappeared. It seems Gep has succeeded in moving the 5 corpses. Well done. However, the next party is tricky. Okay. They will probably be somewhat surprised with the disappearance of Genji's corpse, but their interest will most likely swing back to Kinzo's study after that. There are 2 keys to the study. It's fortunate that Nozuki is in possession of both. If she had left one with Genji, it would probably have fallen into Lady Lambda Delta's hands by now. It seems that Lady Lambda Delta has no intention of hiding Kinzo's death. Apparently, she plans to fight while ignoring the moats, towers, and ramparts that you've created. Hehehe. This has become a strange, triangular confrontation. We are all each other's enemies, but we will sometimes join forces without notice. In a 3-way fight, just when you think it's 2 against 1, it suddenly becomes 1 against 2. That's what it looks like. The Chinese Battle Royale. Don't you think it's like that Records of 3 Kingdoms thing? Oh, the Longzong plan. That's quite a sophisticated analogy to hear coming from you, Pukuku. There were 3 empires and records of the 3 kingdoms, weren't there? Wee, woo, and shoo, right? It sounds like us. So which empire won out in the end? The power that gained control in the end was the Jin dynasty. The 3 empires you mentioned were all destroyed. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought one of the 3 empires won. Didn't the Wei have an overwhelming advantage? They had a position of emperor stolen from them, and their empire was subjugated and destroyed. The Sama clan and noble family that Cao invited in as advisors eventually gained central control in the power struggle and took over the country. So they were invited as advisors and they seized control. Very interesting, that Lady Lambda Delta. Pardon me, the humans have confirmed the disappearance of Genji's corpse in the servant waiting room. They have started moving towards Low Goldsmith's study. Riche, they're coming. Let them come, the humans and the witches of certainty and miracles. If this is a 3-way fight, then we got humans, witches, and what should we be called? It's saying we're protecting for the time being as Kinzo's phantom. So are we phantoms then? Enter. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take another quick break here. Okay, Father Sansuhi, good morning. There's no way he'll wake up if you do it like that. Father, it's Eva, please wake up. It's an emergency. Eva pushed the suicide knocked repeatedly with all her strength. Quiet down, you're being too boisterous. Is that really the time to be saying something like that? So he is picking up the phone and he's responding to knocking either as troublesome. He might be in a bad mood again. Genzo's son sometimes considers even the slightest change to be an omen and gets into a bad mood for reasons only he can understand. Oh, yes, that's true. This isn't something that started today. It's how badly grandfather wants to shut himself away in the study. Yes, it's not uncommon for him to stay in the study for more than a month at a time. Don't call anyone, but even though I work here, I suppose forget that the master even lives here. Goda, that's not the sort of thing the servant should be saying. My apologies, madam. I am truly sorry. Anyway, isn't it bad that we can't get in contact with him? In the worst case, Father might not even know there's been a crime, right? Well, I wonder. Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kenzo's existence, Kennen mumbled those words. Who was the last person to meet Father, and when? It was me, last night, up until the time of the uproar from Battler when found the gold. I was in Father's study giving the daily report. So at around 23 o'clock last night. No way around it. Let's open it up. What did you say? This is the family head's precious study and research room. No one is permitted to trespass without permission, okay? Who here holds the highest rank? Me, right? I am the 3rd in rank of the Ushimea family. If we open it and get scolded by Father, that's also the responsibility of the highest rank. Because of the urgent circumstances, we'll open this door. You have a key, right? Open it. I believe you know this, but the study cannot be opened with the master key. The master has recently taken away Geiji-sama's key as well, so he has both keys on his person. Therefore, both of the keys that can open this door are inside the study. A closed room. Good. It's finally starting to get a little interesting. It'd be pretty neat if Kinzo-san was lying on the bed in there with his throat cut. You're being far too indiscreet, Erika-san. Anyways, you know this door can only be opened by the keys that Father has. That means anyone, even a murderer, would find it impossible to even touch Father from the outside the room. So Father must be okay. Still, that doesn't mean we shouldn't worry about confirming his safety. Are you really so unconcerned for the safety of Father you respect so much? That isn't the atmosphere which had been so agitated a second ago suddenly went cold, and an eerie feeling filled the room as everyone stared at Natsuhi. They couldn't understand why Natsuhi would protect the study under normal circumstances. People knew that she probably didn't want to disturb the research of Kenzo, and a man she certainly respected. She was therefore trying to keep the unpleasant relatives away. However, this was an extraordinary situation. A murder had occurred. Natsuhi's persistence in keeping things quiet for Kenzo, even in a situation like this, was hard to understand using common sense. There's a good chance that the crime occurring on this island will turn out to be the plotline murders mimicking the epitaph. It's probably a good idea to assume that the crimes will continue. If we view these as plotline murders, then it will keep going until a total of 13 lives are taken. Do you have any concept of how many victims that would be? Wait a sec, how many people do you think there are on this island? Wouldn't that be almost everyone? None, you get it all wrong. As far as I know, the mystery novel with the most dead people in a serial murder was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which had 10 deaths. In the realm of Japanese mysteries is probably the Tokyo Zodiac murders by Shimihara Soji. There were less than 10 deaths in that one. Did you know if the 3 people die, as it seems they will, it'll lead to the most famous development in the history of the mystery genre. The completion of a 13-person serial murder case, right? And if everyone on island is killed, that make it a historical achievement in the world of serial murder mysteries. With even more deaths than the longest murder mystery in the world and the longest one in Japan put together, don't you see? Hey, didn't you know, everyone? The culprit in this crime scene is giving us an incredible challenge, one that might even surpass all the mysteries throughout the world and throughout the history. Of course, everyone realized that long ago, right? If you like mystery, Christie's a must-read. If you're Japanese, it's only natural that you read Shimada Soji's work all the way through. Are you sure you've been reading enough, everyone? Yeah. It's useless. Huh? Looks like you haven't read enough yourself. Did I see something wrong? Erica, who had been chatting away happily all by herself up until a second ago, changed her expression into a displeased glare in an instant. What you were saying about the Japanese mystery genre. Sakaguchi Ango's non-serial murders beats the Zodiac murders. The number of people was the same in both, right? They tied for record, but non-serial murders was first published in 1947. The Zodiac murders was 1981. If you know so much about it, shouldn't you mention non-serial murders first? Erica glared at Battler with an expression that couldn't be fully described with the word shock, and her arms shook as she stood there lost for words. Yeah, that's so totally lame. Well, that's understandable. The crimes in Zodiac took place in 1936, right? It must have gotten her confused, right? Yeah! Then the Delta kept on hitting the table overcome with laughter. Even Burkestow, who had been struck with humiliation, snorted and started pounding the table and laughing in the same way. This is just too good. Not bad, Peace Battler. Yeah. I'm impressed. You must read a lot, don't you, Battler-san? Books? I hardly read those at all. You liar, you know quite a lot, don't you? I never say something as arrogant as I'm a book reader. I'm a book reader. I say something that person who doesn't even read 100 per year should say so lightly, don't you think? You mere piece. Anyway, we've let such a massive crime take place. That's right. At any rate, checking that safety is our first priority right now. But what should we do? He's ignoring the phone and our knocks. The keys are inside. There's something we can do. Are we supposed to knock this thick door down? That won't be easy. Father might have been attacked by someone and severely injured, and he's maybe waiting for someone to help him. This is an extraordinary circumstance. Even Father will understand, and if he has any rebukes, I will be happy to take responsibility myself. But breaking down the door would be quite rude. What about the window? That's right, the window. Is there a ladder somewhere that can reach as high as the 3rd floor? We should be able to get inside by smashing the window. Erica finally came back to her senses and her tone regained its decisive edge. The 3rd-story window, that would be dangerous. We won't know unless we try. Is there a ladder around here that can reach 3 floors? I don't think a ladder in the gardening shed is long enough. Oh, but the ladder in the boiler room. I remember us using it earlier when the bird made a nest on top of the rain gutter. Yes, it would be able to reach without a doubt. He must have been extremely happy about thinking of something Kennan hadn't. Looking pleased with himself as though he had won something, he glanced around at everyone. He was probably hoping that Natsuhi would praise him, but he quickly avoided his gaze. Of course, Kenan had known about that ladder too. However, in order to protect Kinzo's secret, he'd intentionally pretended to have forgotten. But with this weather and strong winds, isn't this just too dangerous? I agree. If someone gets seriously injured, we can't go to the hospital until tomorrow, right? The wind might not be as strong in the courtyard. I think it's at least worth taking a look. But truly, going up to the third floor would be quite a challenge. Back when we had to clean up the bird's nest, most of the servants shrank away from the danger. And that's when your humble servant, took on a major role in spectacularly handling the situation. Yeah, right then, there's no problem. Let's just get a ladder that I'll reach. And look, someone here already has experienced this sort of thing. Huh? Okay, guys, so I'm gonna take another quick break here. Okay, guys, I'm back. The courtyard was surrounded on all four sides, so while the rain was still fierce, the winds had almost no effect. Fortunately, the ceiling just jutted out a bit, so even the rain wasn't so bad. Okay, let's start setting the ladder up. Be careful, don't hurt yourself. Sure, Rudolph and Butler carried a special ladder which was designed for work on high places. Two umbrellas followed the pair. Shannon and Kenny were holding umbrellas, sheltering them from the rain. It doesn't matter if we get wet, go back under the eaves. Go to son. Even if there's something wrong with your knees, you can at least hold the ladder down, right? Yes. If only I had enough hyaluronan. Going up a ladder will be no problem at all. I am truly sorry. Coda clamored forward to replace Shannon and Cannon. As she watched as Kyrie giggled. That hammer. Cool, Battler, you love athletics, don't you? Not as much as I love my cool handyman dad. You little brat. Sheesh, I guess I've got to show this son of mine my good side once in a while. Butler, go to son, hold that ladder down tight. And make sure you're looking up, okay? My hand might slip and you'll have this hammer tumbling down on you. Don't worry, I'll catch it and smash your head in. After putting the hammer, they got to smash the window in his pocket and cracking his knuckles. Rudolph started climbing. Will Rudolph's summer be okay? He'll be fine. That guy could totally be in an action movie, plus sports are one of his strong points. I wish you'd tell me how my skating prowess is supposed to help me climb ladders. I am in a Bauer, always in a big pinch or whatever. Who? He'll manage to avoid dying, so there's nothing to worry about. More importantly, we're really lucky the shutters aren't down. Isn't it a common practice to lower the shutters to Father's study for the night? Yes, when we're permitted to enter and exit, we open and close them in the morning and at night. However, I think it was decided that such a thing was unnecessary for the time being, so it was left open. I see. Father will be pretty mad, won't he, if his son smashes his window and comes in while he's sleeping. That'd be wonderful if we didn't have to smash the window, don't you think? Both Shannon and Kenny knew that cancer no longer existed in this world, and so he had ordered them to interfere as much as possible. But now it had come to this, there was nothing the two of them could do. They had tried to interfere by pretending they didn't know about a ladder that could reach up to the third floor, but because of Coda's showing off, that ladder had been found. Rudolph carefully climbed the ladder. He would reach the third window very soon, and as he did this, Shannon again stared at him, looking uneasy. After this, what will happen next? To the two of them, to Madame, to the Master. Very soon, Rudolph will reach the window. So it's already the end of this room's barrier. The soldiers are scaling their emperors, trying to reach the other side. The moment of surrender is truly right before our eyes. I am prepared to be erased at any moment. We can't let that happen. You have to remain alive, even if it means crawling through the dirt. I'll think about what to do next. For now, escape from this place. You may say that, but what can I do? Eva and the rest are still camped on the hallway, and Rudolph is approaching the window. There's no way of retreat to the window, door, or the door. In that case, perhaps you could hide under the bed. So I am not even permitted the chance to wait for the enemy's arrival on my own throne. You might have done that while you were still alive, but now you're a ghost that Natsuhi and I brought to life. Ghosts should do what ghosts do best and hide under the bed or in a closet. Well, something like that really deceived their eyes. My. Don't worry, I'll be with you. I'll let you escape at the last moment. It'll be dangerous for you, even though you're a demon. You won't get away unscathed if you're burned by that magic-resisting toxin. Don't worry about that. Anyway, I need things to get at least that bad before my heart starts pumping. How comforting. I understand. I'll hide under the bed. Milady, Rudolph will reach the window very soon. Gab, I've changed my mind. I'll guard this place. Hide yourself along with Ronov. What did you say? You got it backwards. Didn't we plan to leave this place to Gab and have you retreat, milady? Though Ronov should have been used to her fickleness, this surprised him for the first time in a long while. Beato may have been a powerful queen, but she was also an important piece that mustn't be exposed to danger. Though she was strong, running to the front lines without any plan would not be a praiseworthy move. What kind of whim is this? It's just a whim. I'm not so fond of the boredom that I could simply sip tea while leaving everything to you. I've got the urge to jump into the struggle right away. I understand. It is your game after all. You can do as you wish. I'll carefully watch over the corpses of the first twilight that I erased to make sure nothing happens to them. Sorry for stealing your time to shine. Is that really acceptable, milady? You should know that I like showing off even more than my 3 meals a day. I've done nothing but gobble up Gap's turn. Don't worry about it. Ronov and Gap both fell silent. The two of them had already noticed. Lady Birkenstock, who used Furudo Eric as a piece, was a terrifying opponent in this fight, will probably be terrifying as well. Beato couldn't expose Gap or friend to this danger. Beato bluffed and said that wasn't the case, but Ronov and Gap already figured it out. Therefore, it took confirming Beato's resolve one last time, and seeing that she was completely firm in her decision, they nodded in silence and accepted it. I understand. I'll leave this place to you. I'm rooting for you. Take care. Yeah, please watch over my efforts to your heart's content. Lady Birkenstock will probably start trying to expose kids' absence with the closed room argument. Fights in a closed room are normally Gap's area of expertise. Queens are commanders because they're best at fighting in wide open areas. This won't be an easy fight. I'm fully aware of that. I currently serve Natsuhi. Watching Natsuhi's danger from above and letting Gap take care of it doesn't make sense to me. Understood. I wish you luck in battle. Be careful. If it becomes a complete closed room, we won't be able to come in and help you. I'll laugh at them a bit, and if they skip out, I'll just grab Kenzo and run for it. It's easy. With the door and the window that pass into the future to choose from, there are plenty of places to run to. Of course, I won't let this become a closed room. Though you won't see us, we'll be cheering you on from very close by. Good luck. Sure. Gap and Rona became a swarm of gold butterflies and disappeared, and Kenzo melted into the darkness beneath the bed. The Beato also became a swarm of gold butterflies and melted away inside the study. After that, all figures and signs of life had disappeared from the study, and once more regained its silence as though no one had been there from the beginning. Then Rudolph's outline slipped into view from beyond the window's curtain. Dad, if you're there, answer. Dad! As he yelled, he hit the window. His foothold was so uncertain that just hitting the window felt life-threatening. But of course, this was Rudolph's to show off. Deciding that he couldn't do anything stupid with so many people watching from below, he suppressed the fear from being so high up and boldly knocked on the window. Come on, grandfather, can't he hear? I wonder. I hope he doesn't drop the hammer. How many seconds have passed? It's been 30 seconds since he knocked on the window. So he really smashed it? The master will be very mad. Though someone was going to brag about how something that anger is their duty there, so there's no need to worry. Rudolph-san, that's enough. Do it. Sure. Damn it, Dad, you better not complain after I smash it. He hit it several times, and eventually a fist-sized hole opened up in the glass. Because of its unstable footing, this took a lot of effort. Using the end of the hammer skillfully, he brushed aside the now fresher bits of glass and opened the hole further. He stuck his hand through it and unlocked the window. And after a hard struggle, Rudolph somehow managed to open the window, and his body slipped through into the study. After that, he flopped into the floor, using his entire body to enjoy the relief of having ground under him. Dad, it's Rudolph. Answer me. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kenzo's study was a small villa he had created inside the mansion. A study, a library, a place to sleep, and a bathroom and washroom. It was divided into multiple rooms. That's right, that's all this at your fingertips. It wouldn't be hard to spend your days in the study without leaving it at all. The bed was empty. There were marks on it that made it seem as though someone had slipped out, but there was no one in sight. This happens a lot in ninja movies. Someone finds that bed is still warm, and so the occupant couldn't have gone far. Rudolph tried placing his hand on the bed, but he couldn't feel any heat at all. Not only was there no heat, it felt completely ice cold, and the bed wasn't the only thing that was ice cold. The air inside the room and even the presence about it, if that's the right word for it, even that felt ice cold. To Rudolph, it felt as though Kenzo slipped out of this room a long time ago. However, it's been well cleaned. It has signs of having been lived in. Wrinkles in the bed, the slight angle of the chair. Here and there were many marks that would doubtlessly have been cleaned or fixed up if someone had come back in to make the beds. As far as I could tell on the top of my head, Dad must have slipped out of bed several hours ago at least, at the latest. That would have been seen general time period as a brutal murder case. Guess we can't be sure Kinzo's absence and the crime are completely unrelated. For the time being, he leaned out the window and told Kara and the others in the courtyard to come back up since he was going to unlock the door. Then he pushed the button on the study desk and released the door's auto lock. There was a heavy clunky sound and Natsuki and the rest dashed in immediately. Father, good morning. Sorry, but it isn't Dad. I'm the one who opened it. Was the Kinzo son there? Nope. It looks like someone slipped out of bed, but you can't tell when that happened. And Natsuki's son was the last person to meet him right at around 11 o'clock last night. I wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else. That's... Well, he must consider father's fickle nature. It wasn't at all uncommon for him to suddenly wake in the middle of the night claiming to have had a revelation in a dream and walk around the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo? True, this has happened before. Anyway, he's a fickle person. Right, Kumasawa-san? Ho, that's true. Perhaps he had a strange dream and slipped out of bed. That isn't uncommon at all, yes. Then where did he slip off to? Does this mean there's a good chance Father's been caught up in this crime? See, we should have checked to make sure Father was safe from the beginning, right? We can't be sure he isn't in this dream. Maybe the culprit tied him up and locked him in the closet or something like that. Good point. Let's search. This is the head sportsman's study. You must have touched things for that reason. Oh yeah, that's right. There's something I need to tell you, culprit son. When Natsu heard this said right in front of her, her heart froze. But Erica had only just happened to be sitting in front of Natsui when she said it. She had directed her towards the room at the large. She hadn't been speaking to Natsui in particular. Natsui turned her back on Erica, trying to prevent her faltering expression from being noticed. I have a photographic memory. If you try to alter the crime scene by hiding some evidence, I'll know right away. Please don't slip up here and disappoint me. In a mystery where the whodunit is solved by a culprit slip up mistake, it's only third rate, don't you think? I don't understand what you're saying, but try to refrain from incautious remarks. Father, are you there? Please answer me. And that's when he started walking around and calling out in a loud voice, refusing to let Erica say any more. There was a knock. Kari and the others who had gone down to the courtyard had returned. So Father isn't here after all. He might be tied up and shut away somewhere around here. We're just searching for him. I'm surprised he managed to set himself away in a place like this for all that time. Give it up, Nissan. We can't change anything now. I wonder what Madame plans to do. Get paid back for all the lies she's told up until now. Shh. Let's leave fate in God's hands. Yes. Many people clamored around Kinzo's vast study, looking here and there, inside the closet and the bathtub, even in the refrigerator and under the study desk. That looked everywhere, almost as though they were it in the game of hide and seek. However, not only were they unable to spot Kinzo, they couldn't even find a single suspicious mark. It seems that clear that Father isn't here. That's enough. Please don't disturb Father's purchase study any further. That's right. There's nothing the Master hates more than having things moved around without his permission. Father's nowhere to be found. Maybe he really was caught up in the crime. That wasn't... We can't be sure of that, and Natsuhi averted her gaze once more. It's okay, Natsuhi. We truly do have our backs against the wall. On the off chance that someone entered the study, I had planned to trick them by saying he'd probably gone for a walk somewhere. However, no one would believe that I just dressed up for a casual midnight stroll in a mansion where a murder has occurred and many people have been killed, though I wouldn't put it past myself to do such a thing. Come now, Kinzo, being a good boy and hide under the bed. It's okay, Natsuhi, you may remain calm. It's possible to prove that someone exists, but you can't prove that someone doesn't exist. In other words, the human world is one in which, regardless of whether something exists or not, you can make it so that they exist. And the shadows that can make such things exist are themselves the world of us witches, the world of demons. You mean a devil's proof? Yes. So don't worry. The power of demons will most certainly protect you. If it could protect the unarmed father and my husband, I wouldn't mind sacrificing this body of mine to demons. Your resolve is good. Don't be anxious. And most certainly will not let Kinzo be killed. At that time, a dry sound suddenly rang out twice. Erica had clapped her hands, seeking anyone's attention, though such an action should have been above a guest's place. For some reason, I already felt like a natural right of hers. After all, she was that detective. I think that's enough. It was sure me or Kent is nowhere to be found in this study. Yeah, we searched everywhere he could have been hiding. Dad's nowhere to be seen. Furthermore, we found nothing that looked suspicious. Yes, we didn't find anything at all. Erica said it again. They hadn't been able to discover anything. In that case, we mustn't loiter around this room. Do you understand how angry Father would be if he learned that so many people were looking through his study? Eva, son, you said you were prepared to take responsibility, didn't you? Are you prepared for him to break off relations with you for the rest of your life? That's Father for the Father. Blah blah blah. That's Father for Father to decide, not you. Silence, please. I'd like to lay out the situation. At 23 o'clock last night, the person to meet Kenzo's son in this room was not suicide, right? Can anyone confirm that? Confirm. Yes, that's right. After all, the only one who claims that Natsuhi-san really did stop by here at 23 o'clock last night was Natsuhi-san herself. There wouldn't be a problem with Kenzo-san confirmed that Natsuhi-san really did come here last night, but that vital witness isn't here. So you're saying that alibis are the foundation of a mystery? Yes, that's right. Alibis are important. Of course, they're almost useless when it comes to the actual theory making, but it's common courtesy to poke around those boxes. Even though you didn't ask for alibis regarding last night's murder, you are doing it for grandfather's disappearance. You really are a fickle person. Oh, don't worry. Have no fear that I will fully examine anyone's alibis regarding the murders of the first Twilight later. So, can anyone confirm that Natsuhi-san visited here at 23 o'clock? And no one will be forced to doubt whether Natsuhi-san really was the last person to spot him. You said I can't be trusted? No, it's actually the opposite. I hope that you aren't the actual culprit. After all, that makes this really boring. Only the worst third-rate mysteries have the most suspicious person as the culprit. Natsuhi-san is suspicious? Wait a second. How can you say that? He's right. Calling Madame suspicious is the height of discourtesy. Be quiet. Dr. Nacho Goda, thank you. Erica-san, do you have some sort of proof to justify such a rude outburst? Yes. Though it's so simple that it annoys me. Sorry to bother you with this TV drama quality evidence, but if you don't mind, why don't you just let us hear it? When Battler glared at her, a cold expression rose to Erica's face for an instant, but it was only for an instant. After smiling peacefully and gazing around at everyone, she started to talk. She looked like the main character in the play, who had come onto the stage bathed in a spotlight. It's about this morning. Please remember the time after the murders occurred during the big uproar that followed. We wanted to tell Kenzo about the crime, but he couldn't come out no matter how many times we called on him on the telephone. Remember that time? Anyway, is it bad that we can't get in contact with him? In the worst case, Father might not even know there's been a crime, right? Well, I wonder. Keenly noticed that people who are starting to doubt Kenzo's existence can't mumble those words. Who was the last person to meet Father, and when? It was me last night. Up until the time of the report from when Battler found the goat, I was in Father's study giving the daily report. So, at around 23 o'clock last night, Erica chuckled significantly. And what's your point? Ridiculous. I think Carissa probably did that intentionally, am I right? What do you mean by that? I hope someone might fall for it. I see, thanks, Kari-san. Actually, I was planning to say the same thing if you didn't. Is who you saw the master last really that important? Yes, if we take the circumstances into account, then in response to the question, who met him last? It was very often that's who he decided to instantly answer me. Why? Didn't they tell the truth without hiding anything? Be quiet. Why do you think it was odd? Why are you so sure that no one else met Kenzo's son after 23 o'clock? Well, that's because I watched as he went to bed. It's only natural to assume that he would then sleep until morning and not meet with anyone. Considering the circumstances, it was easy to suspect the last person to spot him of having some kind of involvement with this case. A normal person in Natsuhi-san's position wouldn't say, I was the last person to meet him. I met him at 23 o'clock. Right, Kari-san? Yes, that's correct. A normal person would say, I met him at 23 o'clock. However, I'm not sure I was the last person to meet him. Something like that. Good. Claiming to be the last witness is usually quite difficult. That is, unless you know something that makes you sure there are no other witnesses after you. And the third-rate mystery is the last one to spot the victim was often the culprit. They killed the victim themselves, so they knew that no one else could have met the culprit later on, is how the argument goes. Oh, couldn't that be nothing more than a minor misspeak? It's not important enough to be picked up out of the blue and focused on. Yeah, it's just nothing more than nitpicking, isn't it? A little too early to suspect Natsui-san because of a little slip of tongue like that. Furthermore, you said she needed a reason to be sure no one else spotted the master. But of course she had such a reason, and she left the room after seeing the master go to bed. Following the common sense, it's perfectly natural to assume that he probably wouldn't meet anyone else until next morning. No, that isn't natural at all. After all, Natsui-san, Dr. Nacho, and Kumasawa-san all made this claim a short while ago. Please try to remember. And Natsui-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night. I wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else. That's... Well, we must consider Father's fickle nature. It wasn't at all uncommon for him to suddenly wake up in the middle of the night claiming to have a revelation in a dream and walk around the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Nacho? True, this happened before. Anyway, only as a fickle person. Right, Kumasawa-san? Ho, that's true. Perhaps he had a strange dream and slipped out of bed. That isn't uncommon at all. Yeah. We definitely have a testimony that it wasn't at all uncommon for grandfather to suddenly slip out of bed late at night. Good, your memory's not bad, Battler-san. In other words, it's common knowledge to those in the Ushimi head of house, Natsuhi-san included, that kids will somehow wake up in the middle of any given night and the women wander around. On top of that, they are unaware that this happens quite often. Is it that odd? If you knew father often wanders around at night, there's no way you could be certain that he stayed in his bed until morning, right? It really is like a third mystery. You know that thing to do in like last 5 minutes where the culprit asks, when did you first realize it was me? And the detective answers, seriously, that's why I felt let down. If it turns out Natsuki-san really is a culprit, this will be worse than a TV mystery. That's why I want to clear away the suspicion surrounding Natsuki-san as soon as I can. I want to make sure this mystery isn't third rate before I do anything else. There's no need to get anxious, Natsuhi. This is a classic word game used by detective wannabes. What exactly is her point? How could she possibly corner you with this accusation alone? In the court of hell of all the demon jurors will declare you innocent. So calm down, don't get flustered. It may be true that Natsuhi looks suspicious when you say it like that. Still, it sounds like you're just nitpicking to me. But it is suspicious. Is it more than enough reason to suspect that Natsuhi sees Nissan's hiding something? Of all the unfair accusations and how cowardly of you, Eva-san, you're the sole person who can confirm that I was really here at 23 o'clock, aren't you? Is that true, Eva-san? Oh, did that happen? I'm sorry. At that time, I was losing my head because of the recently discovered gold, so I forgot all about bumping into Natsuhi-san until just a second ago. So, Eva-san, you can confirm that Natsuhi-san was a witness at 23 o'clock? Yes, unfortunately, I'm able to acknowledge that one part of Natsuhi-san's story, but only that she came out of this room. What are you implying? Oh, I'll tell you. In fact, I've wanted to say this for a long time now. I do realize it's improper to bring this up in the middle of such a tragic murder case, but the timing now is just too perfect. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Natsuhi-san. The servant gulped and held their breaths. It seemed that they had been able to hide it after all. In the middle of the heavy silence, Eva fingered her trump card and Natsuhi tried to act calm. Both space of time grew heavy as lead and swallowed up everything. Just when did Kinzo's sun disappear, I wonder? Erica's words, spoken almost casually, tore the atmosphere to pieces like shattering glass. Simply put, we haven't met him once at the family conference this year or last. That's right. We've suspected it since last year. Seeing as how my son and the others have just been killed, this may not be the time or place to press on this, but there's a chance that this has something to do with the crimes the person used, just what we'll do. It's possible that you have one motive for hiding Father's death. We have reason to suspect that you're embezzling his assets. If Father were to die, an investigation would be conducted for the distribution of the assets, and your embezzlement would be exposed. That's why you hid the fact that Father's already dead. I see. That's more than enough for why you done it. This keeps getting more and more third rate. Ah, boring. I don't know what you're talking about. You say I'm hiding the head's death? I most certainly won't forgive such a reckless accusation. That's right. In addition to Madame to order that their servants take care of Master on a daily basis, and they see him all the time. Genji-san, Shin-san, and Kennen-kun, even Dr. Nacho and Kumasawa-san meet with them often. Perhaps because he doesn't trust me, I haven't. Something. Be quiet, Goda. Eek. My apologies. Aren't all the witnesses besides Natsuhi-san's servants employed by her? So you use money to make them follow your story. Oh man, this really is third rate. Pitiful. I'm disappointed, Natsuhi-san. So I guess I'll have to finish just now. Finish what? Ushamiya Kenzo-san. What is it, uninvited guest? You don't exist, do you? You are a ghost whose death was concealed by those humans who didn't want it to be known because of the inheritance problem. Humph. Ghosts are supposed to quickly pass on to the next world. Even though this is the first time we met, I've yet to give you a proper greeting. My apologies. Good day, pleased to meet you, and goodbye. So close to Erica's face they could barely have wedged a sheet of paper between them. Beeto's pipe came up to the sun and stopped. And a good day to you too. I'm the Ushamiya family alchemist, Beatrice the Golden. I'll be your opponent in this fight from here on out. Glad to meet you. I'm the detective of this game, Frudo Erica. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And now goodbye. So you're Lady Birkenstone's next piece after Ange. I'm afraid I didn't get to fight with her to my satisfaction in the end. I'm glad I'll be able to lock horns with you this time, Lady Birkenstone's piece. My master is almighty and omnipotent. A fool like you couldn't even begin to compare with her. I accept your challenge. Cackle, you really are calm. Even though a witch has appeared before you and is about to fight with magic and fantasy. If you were a battler, you'd be lying on the ground screaming that this can't possibly be a mystery anymore. Yeah, even this mystery genre, parallel universes like this have gotten pretty popular lately. You know about pure reasoning, space, and all that. Oh yeah, 2G, Yukido doesn't make his debut until next year. You sure are picky for a witch. You don't think you're on the same level as a witch? Don't be so full of yourself, you mere human. When Beto snapped her fingers, something bounced around the room at terrifying speeds. It was the stick of the witch. A witch's wedge that contained the power of the blue truth within it. Of course, a mere human like Erica couldn't follow that terrible speed with her eyes. Erica understood this, so she didn't attempt to look every which way, stupidly trying to spot it. Eat this, fool. With a terrible sound, Lucifer's blue stick buried itself right into Erica's collarbone. It pierced all the way through her back. Lucifer spun around and rebounded, landing in front of Beato, and vanished with a shrill laugh. Erica wasn't blown back, but she had been run through by the blue wedge. So this is that so-called blue truth. Well, then let me hear your views. You can't deny the possibility that Natsuki met with Kenzo at 23 o'clock during the 6 hours or more before you pushed your way into the study. Kenzo had many chances to escape from it. Because of this, you can't state decisively that Kenzo doesn't exist. Beato announced with that expression worthy of her title as a witch. Erica was silent. Was she too shocked to speak? There was no anguish in her expression. She was just quietly listening to Beato's blue truth. No, just by her disdainful expression. It's probably more appropriate to say that Beato's words went in one ear and out the other. Good, let's start with the classic moves. By the way, this thing really is stuck good. I can't take it out. She tried pulling it from the front and back of the blue wedge that pierced her, but it didn't budge an inch. However, her indifferent, relaxed expression didn't budge an inch either. You can't take it out. The blue truth can only be defeated by the red truth. For one, such as yourself, I guess you came to silence that most a day ago. There is no truth that can possibly be known. That means there exists no red that you can use. In other words, it's a checkmate. I see, so that what kind of space this is. In that case, I'll need a piece suitable for fighting a witch. I'm the detective. My role is to take on the human culprit. You are a witch, and there does exist a fitting piece to use against witches and demons. Let me introduce you, Miss Delaner. It looks like it's your turn. Delaner. I thought so. I was certain you'd bring that piece in sooner or later. The 10 witches in which to hunt, which is the Archbishop of the Witch Hunting Delaner. There's no more fitting piece in the battle against the demons than my double, Erica, and the greatest natural enemy of which is Delaner. I now take control of the 7th rank with my 2 rooks. Let me show you them the Delta and you too, Beatrice. Now you see how useless your struggling is. Yeah. The air shone brightly, and the piece Erica had guided there showed its form. That form resembled a clergy member perfectly suited for confronting an evil witch. It's a pleasure to meet you. Delenor A. Knox is my name. Even though that face was like a bomb just waiting to go off, she introduced herself in a neat and frank manner. Her out-of-place appearance, completely different from those of demons and witches, felt blatantly odd and a kind of a severity to it. This is the first time I met you, but I've heard all the rumors, so this doesn't truly feel like a first meeting. The same goes for me, Miss Beatrice. The detailed materials Eisern Jungfer has on you or summarized in 600 pages. I always read such reports, so this doesn't feel like a first meeting to me either. The Secretary of the Hell could summarize those 600 pages into 6 letters. Allow me to ask. Danger. A fitting summary. When I return, I will summarize the materials on you using only 2 letters more out of respect. Executed. So I'm cute now, Cackle. You're too polite, my guess. Then I'll let us continue, Miss Beatrice. I, Delenor, the head inquisitor of heresy, do humbly accept my role as your opponent. My first move is over. If you can't remove the blue wedge from that Furudo Erica over there, then you might as well tot her back up to heaven and get back to your usual boring jump and stamping forms. Please do something about this wedge thing. It looks like Beatrice thinks you already achieved checkmate with this alone. After making a show of tapping her finger in the blue wedge that pierced her, Erica shrugged as though taunting Beatrice. Beatrice, it's okay, I'm just toying with her a bit. After all, if things get bad, I can grab Kenzo and run out of here whenever I want. I can leave this room at any time and go anywhere. That is useless. Ho. Now that you've met up with me, this is your demise. The despicable will not be permitted. None can escape. Sure, we couldn't deny that it would be possible for father to suddenly wake up and go somewhere. But you know what? I can't say for sure that such a thing couldn't have happened. You know why? How could you? I know. How are you trying to say that you stood outside the store all night watching to make sure the head didn't take a step outside? Yes, someone was watching. This kid right here. Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that entering or exiting through this door is impossible. The palace guards are ordered to blockade the study door. The doors to heaven open with a strong, unrelenting radiance like the sun's, announcing the arrival of Delenor's underlings. Those words were clad in the red truth and cut off their witches a method of escape. Chester 410 right here. Chester 45 right here. It's been some time, Great Lady Beatrice. We were dispatched in accordance with the Alliance Agreement 1516 and request from Great Court of Heaven. We apologize for the reading that says to follow. We formed a precision blockade on the study door, Nia. I think it's best if we stay away from it, Naya. Allow me to speak. I say again, from last night at 23 o'clock until the present time, the study door was not opened even once. Oh, what is that scrap of paper? It's a completely ordinary receipt, but even so, this mere scrap of paper proves that you lied. Last night, when you came out of the study, Eva saw her chance at watching your receipt into the crack of the study door, and it fell down just now when Rudolph's son opened the door for us. You know what that means? In other words, from 23 o'clock last night until now, Father couldn't possibly have opened this door. Oh, what'd you say? Rudolph, the window was locked, right? Yeah, that was why I smashed the glass. The other windows are locked as well. They're built so that you can't lock them from the outside. Allow me to speak. Know that the windows were all locked. Palace guards blockaded all of the windows. By the name of Eisern Jungfrau, I give the palace guards permission to make use of forbidden weapons. Understood. Entire force permission granted for use of forbidden weapon. Red Warhead. Begin transmitting activation code. Anya? The password doesn't work, Nia. 410. Turn the caps locks off and try again. Chester Squad, precision blockade for study door and all windows complete. We warn the Great Lady Beatrice that if anything is caught passing through this physically, conceptually, or by any other method, we will shoot without warning. Data link from Archangel Satellite 4. Homing format, verdict model conceptual guidance. And on top of that, we've got red warheads. Nah. Impossible to shoot down, impossible to avoid, impossible to survive when hit. It smashed even Lady Beatrice into little bits. Nah. The Chester Squad had laid down a pinpoint blockade over the door and all of the windows. Escape would no longer be permitted to any of these. My, I should be doing the welcoming, but it seems I am the one being welcomed. I'm grateful for the courtesy call, and you've even brought the Chester sisters. Allow me to inform you that your passive retreat had been cut off. Commander Delenor, now let us know now, remove the sin and purify. You done well, Miss Beatrice. I've had your passive retreat terminated. You cannot leave through the door, nor can you leave through the windows. Therefore, escape will now be prohibited. You think you shut me in with this alone? The Inquisitor of Heresy in heaven and her subordinates surround the witch. The subordinates used a powerful barrier to cut off Beato's methods of escape. Demons tend to resist capture, and as a result, they sometimes escape. However, angels counter by blocking all passages of escape, allowing them to eradicate their targets without fail. In other words, the study was a perfect closed room from the time Natsuhide-san claims she said goodnight to the time Rudolph opened the door. And that caused Father would not have to be here, but there's not even a trace of him. Come on, what the hell's going on? Ugh. I keep telling you to calm down. The thought that eye beaches could be shutting such a because doors and windows are closed simply laughable. Kenzo, I was just playing around, but it seems our guest has no intentions. Let's withdraw before we lose our chance. Yes, I would not regret losing this life of mine, but for Natsuhi's sake, I cannot die yet. Beato whipped her pipe and hair was split vertically. Then a pitch black gate appeared there and slowly opened. It was a warp portal, the same as the pitch black holes that Gap used. I believe this is written on my files. An elusive phantom can appear from anywhere and disappear to anywhere. As long as Kenzo has me, it will be impossible to capture him. The pitch black gate opened. That gate led from everywhere into nowhere. Both Beto and Kenzo will be sent to a place where no one could catch them, a place where no one could set foot and much less chase after them. This is a study of the Ushimiya family head, and it also is a room that Father helped design personally. Would it really be so strange if he had some way to get outside without using the door? Yes, that's correct. There would be nothing strange about the Master having a hidden door. A hidden door here, would that be? It's a hidden door, so I don't know. There are several devices and hidden doors in this mention that only Father knows of. No one has seen them directly, but everyone that's mentioned knows about them vaguely, correct? Oh, God, yes. It's true that there have been always rumors about hidden passages only Master knows of. It's true that Kenzo-san will probably like devices such as that. And there are hidden doors after all. No matter how much people such as ourselves might search, it's only natural that we won't find them. I see, so it's a devil's proof. You're saying we could deny the possibility that a hidden door exists in this room. That's nonsense, a farce. Even considering that your lie about concealing Father's death is about to be revealed, how dare you? That's right, just where in this study is there a hidden door? Should I prove that it exists? Proof is unnecessary. It's a devil's proof. It's impossible to find a hidden door, and therefore impossible to prove that it exists. Therefore, no one could deny the possibility that Kenzo escaped from the study through a hidden door. I will not allow a hidden door to exist in this room. Beato's blue wedge has been fired off as a farewell gift, was crushed with the flash of the Leonard's long sword, and the pitch black gate was crushed as well. And it wasn't just crushed visibly and physically. The warp portal conceptualizing hidden doors would remain destroyed from that point forward. Well, why could someone like you, who is neither the owner of the study nor the game master, use the red truth? And what was that? What do you mean you will not allow hidden doors to exist? It's because this is the mystery genre, and Noxus Third is forbidden for hidden passages to exist. Hidden doors mustn't exist in mystery genre. Sorry about that. In this world, there are no other gods except our god, and no hidden door exists. They must not exist, and we won't let them exist. They are a blasphemy against our God. Enough pride in you to shock a witch. Ha, it's so painful to watch that it's actually pleasurable. Ha 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 ha. Here it is, the 10 witches, the pierced witches, just like usual. This kind of irrational argument I just love to hear. What a fool. The devil's proof might have been vague enough to let you escape from everything until now, but now that you're up against the Leonard, that move won't work anymore, Beatrice. As I thought, you're no different from any witch after all. I'm disappointed. Beato, it seems this is an opponent will be able to escape from easily after all. Please do entertain me, Beatrice, son. You should at least serve some tea for your guests. It doesn't even matter if it's third rate. Come on, please use the blue truth and tell me how Kenzo-san escaped from this closed room study. Very well. Make sure you don't cry. It's possible that after slipping out the door, Kenzo noticed the trick with the original receipt and quickly returned it to its original place. Denial of that with the red has already been finished. After 23 o'clock, the door to the study was not opened even once. Kenzo might have been a marvelously magician and inventor, right? He might have invented a drug that turns his body to mist and slips throughout the keyhole. No such drug exists. It must not exist. Or maybe he invented a teleport device, right? The possibility is undeniable because of the devil's proof. Such a machine does not exist. I will not allow it to exist. Also, you can examine every drug in the world. You can deny the existence of unknown scientific devices. There's no way you can. It's a devil's proof. You cannot deny that they might exist. I will repeat, by the name of God, I will not I will not let such a drug or machine exist. I will not allow them to exist for all eternity. Not even in the future? Oh, so you think you can deny possibilities in the future of the human race? It's Noxus 4th. It's forbidden for unknown drugs or hard to understand scientific devices to be used. The progression of humanity, as well as techniques and knowledge that might be obtainable in the future, are decided upon by our God, and the denial of their existence has been proclaimed for eternity. Therefore, I will not allow for such a technique to exist for all eternity. It is not permitted. Beato and Delenor has supposedly just gone through a massive exchange of red and blue. However, not only did Delenor not take any damage, she also showed no signs of fatigue. Beato might have been a fearsome witch, but blood flowed through her veins, and she did breathe. She felt both pain and fatigue. But Delenor was like a doll made of marble. She felt no fatigue, no pain, no hesitation. Even if Beato's sharp wedges aimed right for Delenor's eyes, she wouldn't have shut them. In fact, it's doubtful that she even blinks in the first place. Beatrice, hang in there. Well, I've already heard the rumors, but our compatibility really is so awful. The thing that dreams and hopes and even future possibilities will be forbidden. The pride of the gods is overwhelming. I expect no less from a witch hunt executioner. It seems we'll never be able to enjoy a drink together. Even the strikes that have made Battler surrender over and over have absolutely no effect on Delenor. Well, I more or less knew this was coming, but to think I'd repel so easily. Quite a formidable opponent. Oh my, even the great goldsmith has gotten old and decrepit. Harry knows what's coming out of your mouth. Has heard and seen two comets in the night sky. I'm not decrepit. I'm already dead. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, but I'm not letting you die for just a bit longer. Beato experienced something she only really felt during her entire life. It was probably what we call hardship. Beato quietly brushed aside Natsui's hand and tried to comfort her, but she regained her posture again, showing off her witch's pride and her continued readiness to fight. Is that all? There would be no need for me to come here. I'm disappointed. I'm not done yet. I was just testing a few moves just now. I merely wish to measure your abilities. How foolish. No, your place, Golden Witch. Lady Beatrice. Beato's expression became tense once again. No longer was there any trace of mischief. The mood changed. The time for playing is over. Here I go. In that case, I shall acknowledge that Kenzo did not enter or leave the study. Why don't I accept your closed room? Let it be known that Beatrice has changed her pattern of attack. Beatrice, who had until then thoroughly resisted the idea that a closed room existed in about a face, she proclaimed that she accepted their proposition. Of course, this didn't mean she surrendered. This was a new attack of Beato's. Delenor noticed this and readied herself. What's going on? Why did Lady Beatrice acknowledge the closed room from when she's trying to destroy it? Yet? She probably trying to claim that Kenzo existed outside of this room, confirmation that the great Lady Beatrice warp portal has reactivated. Natsui claims that I've talked with Kenzo in the study, but she never said that she spoke with them face to face. Therefore, Kenzo was in a location other than the study. There is no contradiction as long as they held a conversation. After bouncing at an erratic angle, the witch's stake pierced the top of Delenor's foot. You sure are slow. Hee at the top of the foot, all mine. Natsui used an internal phone line in the study to speak with Kenzo, who was in another place. There would be nothing strange if Kenzo, who hates her relatives, predicted they enter his study and left to go elsewhere. He might have gone to the hidden mansion Kuwadorian. Asmodeus' estate, which contained the power of Beato's blue truth, pierced Delenor's foot, changed into a blue wedge. Not bad, that makes sense, Nia. Blue truth valid. A cyclone of gold butterflies swept up Beato at its center. The magical power of once smashed black gate was once again refilled. If I can manage to hold Delenor out of here, I'll be able to warp Kenzo out of the study at this time, all the way to Kuwadorian. Delenor moved clumsily, trying to pull the blue wedge out of her foot. But it didn't even budge. Of course, Beato didn't miss his chance. No witch could. I've got more, so get ready. There's chance that the Kenzo Natsui mentioned does not refer to the person himself. The Kenzo Natsui spoke of might have been another name for this room, right? Kenzo had taken refuge in Kuwadorian and it was impossible to contact. Perhaps Natsui called this room Father, and by contemplating inside, she felt as though she had received some sort of revelation from Kenzo. We've stopped your movement, you've already lost. Beelzebub's blue wedge pierced the base of Delenor's neck. Of course, even this didn't cause her to flinch, but her movements were restricted even further. Interesting. Is that all? You don't call it a full course dinner if you stop at the soups and horse divorce. All you eat with the main dish and dessert at once, so watch your stomach explode as you die. Even if you say this is closed room and impossible to escape from, you can't deny the possibility that he's still hiding in this room. I'm not talking about a hidden door. He might be under the bed or above the ceiling. He might be hiding in a truly unobtrusive blind spot that only demons could know of, right? Or it might be that Nasui, who has ordered to speak especially on Kenzo's behalf, considers herself both his representative and another Kenzo. In other words, it's possible that Nasui also was Kenzo. I've got plenty more. At 23 o'clock last night, Kenzo escaped out the window. Nasui watched him go, then locked the window. This doesn't lead to any problems. In fact, it might be the most beautiful blue truth yet. How's that, to Lenore A. Knox? There's many ways to escape from this closed room. You know you're full of shit and trying to oppose my master. There's no need for you to argue back. Just lose asleep for all eternity. The seven sisters appeared from Bito's golden tornado, one after another, piercing the Lenore with blue wedges. 4 blue wedges were buried into her neck, chest, gut, and thigh, including the one buried in the top of her foot. She was pincushioned by 5 stakes. Beatrice-sama, when's my turn? I'll use you if I think of any more. Be quiet for now. How do you like that, Lenore, the witch hunter? After screwing and burning so many witches in the past, I feel to be skewered by a witch this time. Yeah, they were all ridiculous arguments, but they came fiercely one after another. There were a total of 5 witches pierced to Lenore. Her expression didn't change in the slightest. However, her movements have indeed been limited. Whew, witches sure are scary, Nia. You can't beat twisted logic, Nia. They don't violate the Nox Decalogue. It's valid. Well done, Beatrice. Even if there was no one in the study, even if it was a closed room, that alone is enough to deny Father's existence. Against a normal opponent, I think the matter is settled by now, but this is the Lenore, head inquisitor of heresy. This ruthless woman killed even her father when he violated the Decalogue. Kenzo now. Right, now that the Lenore has been pinned down, this was their last chance to recover their magical power and escape. Once again, the pitch-black gate began to rise slowly in front of Beatrice and Kenzo. Though the gate had once been opened by simply drawing in the midair, it wasn't so easy to study now, filled as it was with power of denial. Well, what do you think, everyone? No matter how much you question the state of the study, you can't question whether or not Father is in good health. Oh, you say, both you and I had better not forget that we're part of this battle, right? I cannot fight against witches, but I can fight against you. Erica grinned at Nasui with a smile more demonic than her real demons. Nasui's son, let me ask again. Last night, you're sure you spoke with Jumi or Kenzo's son, right? Yes, I am said repeatedly. Oops, my bad, guys, didn't mean to skip that. This may be a strange thing to ask, but since I need to prove your innocence, please answer me straightforwardly. This Kenzo you speak of is Ushumi Akido, someone we all know of, right? It is a different person or thing with the same name as it. I'm not really sure what you mean. It's like this. You didn't for an instant start calling this room yourself Father after Father's death, right? That's what she's asking. You said you gave a daily report to Father before you went to sleep, right? That doesn't mean you gave a daily report to the wall here all by yourself inside the study called Father, right? How rude. Nothing of the sort happened. Father is Father. He is in good health. And I most certainly gave him a report and said goodnight to him last night. I'm not trying to trick you or talk my way out of anything. I see. In that case, can you repeat what I'm about to say? If you aren't tricking or deceiving us in any way, you should be able to do it. Fine, I'll repeat it whatever you want. Repeat it. Ushumi Natsu, he did at 23 o'clock last night. Speak with Ushumi Kenzo while in the same room as him, this room. I, Ushumi Natsu, he did at 23 o'clock last night. Speak with Ushumi Kenzo while in the same room as him, this room. Good, and I'll ask one last thing. Seriously now, Natsu-san, you didn't do anything like that? Like throwing that Kenzo-san out the window after your conversation and locking the window behind him, right? Because everything still makes sense if you did. Oh, I don't want to chase Father out the window. This is intolerable. This mockery is intolerable. Please allow me to speak. Let it be said that when Natsu refers to Kenzo, she means Ushimi or Kenzo and nothing else. Please allow me to speak. Natsu-san claims to have met face-to-face with Kenzo in the study at 23 o'clock. Natsu let out a cry, but it was too late. She had been totally suckered in by their provocation. The blue wedge to the foot represented a telephone discussion. The blue wedge to the neck representing the study itself being called Kenzo. The blue wedge to the gut representing Natsu herself being called Kenzo. The blue wedge to the thigh representing Natsu letting out Kenzo escape out the window and walking in afterwards. The four of them were smashed up with thin sound, because Leslie, the one who knew the truth, had denied them. Those denials had gained the power of the red truth. Despite Kenzo's absence in his closed room, Beato had introduced 5 ways that Kenzo could still exist. Natsui had carelessly crushed her premises behind the 4 of those herself. Only one wedge remained. In other words, this is the last blue truth that could bury the contradiction of Kenzo existing in the study at 23 o'clock, but not existing there later after it became a closed room. There was only one theory that pierced Eleanor's chest. Kenzo was hiding somewhere in this room. With that theory, even if Kenzo wasn't present in this closed room study, he could still exist there. If this was just Satan's were to be crushed, your chances of escaping the room would become hopelessly dim. Beatrice-sama, quickly escape while you still can. Eleanor slowly grasped the final wedge which still pierced her chest. Apparently that vice-like grip was hurting Satan, as all her bones in her body were being broken. All that remains is just one wedge. It was about the Kenzo hitting someone in this room, correct? As the detective, I searched all those places. If I didn't find him, just where could he be hiding? With final wedge still sticking out of her chest, Eleanor slowly approached Beato. If this wedge was taken up, then allow me to ask, just where in his study is Kenzo hiding? Well then, maybe he's under the bed. A trick of that place has been finished. Maybe he's in the bathtub. A trick of that place has been finished. Inside the closet, under the desk, behind the curtains. A check of that place has been finished. Check place, finish, check, finish, check, finish. Behind the bookshelf, in the closet, under the carpet, under the floor, under the ceiling. Wallpaper, sofa, and chair, bed, blankets, walls, rock, crag. Check finish, check finish, check finish, finish, check, die to the death, sentence of death, the great equalizer's death. No locations work against Eleanor by this point. Eleanor took Beato's final desperate onslaught head on, throwing everything back with the far stronger power of denial. Beat them up, knock them down with overwhelming force. No longer does any place exist in the study for Kenzo to escape to. Beato was blown back like a leaf dancing in the wind, knocked around over and over again like an empty can lying on the rope. By now, no matter how many times Beato used the blue truth, it won't be able to defeat the Eleanor's red. Ha 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 ha. Witches are so pathetic. You just try to talk your way out of things endlessly, trying to confuse the truth. Let me borrow the Eleanor's words. I'm disappointed, Beatrice-san. Hee hee hee. Erica coldly delivered those decisive words to Beato, who was crawling on the ground. Detective's authority. The detective has the right to inspect all crime scenes. I have exercised this right. Therefore, I can say this. Kenzo-san is not inside this room. Furthermore, this room is a perfect closed room. From the above 2 points, I can say this fact. This room was empty the whole time. Natsui-san lied about having met Kenzo-san here last night. That makes this checkmate, Beatrice-san. How's that? Simply by existence of this room. This is level of reasoning is possible for Furuto Erica. What do you think, everyone? At these words, the final witch is shattered, and at the same time, the pitch-black gate was about to open and shattered once again. This time, warp portal had been completely destroyed. No longer would Kenzo be permitted to exist in this room or escape from it. Beato struggled to her feet, but that was the best she could do. She no longer had the energy to fight. She had taken all of the 9 red head-on from close range. It took all her strength just to withstand that pain so strong it felt like she'd vomit up all her insides. Even Beato, who had always aimed for the title of the strongest and most evil witch, couldn't do a thing against the witch hunter. No matter how sturdy a sandcastle you put on the beach, you could never win against the rising tide. Sorry, Kenzo. Looks like this opponent really was tough after all. Beatrice, I thank you. You've done so much for me despite your remaining grudge. I guess it's true that your life flashes by when you see death coming. I remembered how you once looked when you were young. You are annoyingly like Battler. I know how passive and on my soul and the qualifications of head to Battler. I no longer have any regrets. Battler, my apologies, how pitiful, though I swore to fight you with you once again, I must sit on my counts like this. To Beato, it seemed as though Battler had met her gaze. There was no way he could have. This Battler was the Peace Battler. There was no way he could see Beato in this higher level world. However, his eyes really did meet hers, even though they couldn't have. Beato was sure they did. As Erica, Ava, and the others closed in on Natsui, questioning her over and over, but only Battler stood apart from the tongue. His expression held none of the enthusiasm and excitement the other humans had. It's just personally and coldly surveyed the scene, and the expression on his face was a quiet displeasure and anger. He wasn't feeling compassion for Natsui because her lie was about to be exposed. However, he couldn't excuse Erica as a self-proclaimed intellectual rapist who simply enjoyed cornering Natsui and those who sympathized with her. Then he whispered softly, "It's useless." Beato and the others definitely heard that. You don't think Battler might have turned things around in this weakened position? I probably could have done it back in the day. Battler can probably do it. Battler, if you are indeed the man who will inherit everything from me, now is the time to prove it. Don't let the legend of the Golden Witch end here. It's true, and my father here last night is true, and he spoke to me of the Ushimiya family's glorious history as well as the burden of bearing it. Your lie has already been exposed now, so we already know that you were alone in this room last night. Isn't it about time to give up and confess? Culprits who are bad at giving up tend to go up with bad mystery novels. At least in the end, please prove that this is a slightly better third-rate mystery than that. It's useless. It's all useless. Battler, who spoke, had been silent off by himself until then he spoke. At first, it sounded as though he was attacking Natsuhi. However, when Erica realized he was glaring directly at her, her expression visibly clouded with displeasure. And just what are you calling useless? If this is a third-rate mystery, then the detective's third-rate too. Listen up. I'm going to become grandfather. But Battler? You'll become Kinzo-san? Are you saying you'll become Kinzo-san and reenact his experience in this room? Do you actually intend to deny my checkmate? Fool! What is this man saying? Hey, new girls, this is here's your first game, right? Sorry, but it's totally useless to call checkmate after a little something like that. Yeah, it's all useless. What are you talking about, Battler? You say you'll become dad? Yeah, I'll reenact it. I'll become grandfather to disappear from this room. You can't use the windows or door, right? How could you do it? Did you find a hidden door? I don't have a clue either. Yes, not a clue. Russell. That sound wasn't just a noise of onlookers fidgeting. It was a provocative chill that ran up Erica's spine. Interesting. I see you're the successor to Ushimiya from the headship, the one who bears the head's ring. That should more than qualify you to stand in for Kinzo-san. Why don't you let us have a look at your theory? Erica's expression was no longer a challenging smile. It was a malicious, overwhelmingly displeased. She couldn't conceal her anger at having this very pleasurable time of hers ruined. How will he get us out of here? I've got it. I see, so that move is still open. So you finally figured out, you damn geezer. Hidden doors and hiding under the bed, all that stuff is so pitiful it brings tears to my eyes. This is the Ushimiya Kizo we're talking about here. There's got to be a more thrilling and exciting answer. Exactly. How pitiful that even I couldn't think of it, even though it was about me. And how pitiful that the only one of my relatives who understand me is Battler, the kid who's returned after being gone 6 years. Battler, take my place. Do not shame me. Sure, Gramps. I'll teach you suggestions what the dignity of the Ushimiya family head is all about. What are you planning to do, father? Well, ha 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 ha. Natsuhi, Beatrice, watch. We'll show you what being the Ushimiya family head truly entails. That Battler, what's he trying to prove? There's no way he can do anything. This is a perfect closed room. And Natsuhi, come here. Now move as I tell you to. Battler called Natsuhi's son over to their window and whispered something to her with his back towards the others. Miss Delanora, you're ready for everything, right? It's not possible for kids on the witch to slip out of this room, right? Of course. Gertrude, Cornelia, and the palace guards double-checked that the seal of this closed room was perfect. Please allow me to speak. Our barrier is perfect. Allow me to speak. There are no hidden doors, and escape will not be guaranteed through either door or window. Palace guards with Battler engages the barrier, fire arrows without hesitation. Chester Court, Roger. Battler's time. Prepare yourself. Escaping from this room is impossible, but he'll do it. How? He's certain he can succeed even without any basis. That's what it means to be the Ushimiya head. True, let's watch. Yeah, let's see them as just the Richet's opponent. Then all began. Everyone nodded and watched Butler's every move. Grandfather was lying in his bed like this, grunting his understanding of Natsu's daily report or whatever. Butler lay down in the bed himself, as if his stone mattered. Now Erica grumbled about disturbing the crime scene, but no one listened to her. Then I stopped answering in sleep, and while realistically speaking, I probably got tired of all that talking but only pretend to be asleep. You really do get it. I see that father's gone to sleep, bow silently and leave. Natsu lowered her head to Butler, who was still lying down in the bed, and turned around. Then she started wandering around and started doing an inspection of the room. After seeing that grandfather was asleep, Natsu, he probably did an inspection of the room before leaving. Of course, she heard Shinichi and the others cleaning every day, but she still checked it thoroughly herself, making sure there was no dust piling up, making sure he didn't run out of any consumables. Yes, this is the room that the Precious family has, so I check everything carefully myself instead of relying entirely on the servants. I always do that. That's true, Madame usually checks everything carefully. Her inspections are very detailed, and she even checks all the consumables in the washroom, one by one. In other words, we weren't just talking dust on our windowsill like you see all the time on TV. She checks to see that there are enough soap or toilet paper in the washroom. Though she probably doesn't have to do it each day. She's very devoted. That's my routine. I must have stuck up at my inspection of the head's room for even a single day. So what's your point? Please keep any showing off to a minimum. Is it getting to show off the biggest perk to being a detective? But I'm the detective. Since we are inside the study, you can probably tell, but even though we call it a study, it wouldn't be wrong to call it a second house inside the mansion. Yeah, a sleeping room, a study room, a washroom, even a toilet and bath. In other words, it isn't a single room. You could call it a full house. Thank you for the explanation of the room's layout. However, the moves of having him hide somewhere in this room has already been defeated. He isn't hiding. However, there's got to be several blind spots. For example, if Natsuhi went to the bathroom and checked the amount of toilet paper, most of the study would be outside our range of vision. In other words, for almost every location in the study, the sole observer would have disappeared. Oh, observer disappearance. We've lost track of Kenzo. That is, he said that the witch's darkness is filling the study. Excellent. Watches fills with the power of darkness. So, if the observer of Natsuhi goes away, so what? What next? When grandfather noticed that Fussy and Natsuhi leaving, he got up. Why? Well, ha. On a twisted night such as this, what better way to enjoy a drink than bathe in twisted weather under the night sky? Silence and Natsuhi's in the blind spot of the bathroom. It becomes possible for grandfather to walk out of the study at will. It was possible for him to move without Natsuhi's knowledge. It was possible for him to move without contradicting what Natsuhi knew. Warning, Butler's approaching the study door. Allow me to speak. A noise rings out when the lock in the study is released. Know that you cannot leave through the door without Natsuhi thinking something was odd. Because Butler had acted as though he was heading for the door, Gertrude, who was sealing the door, immediately sent out a warning. Maybe it was possible for him to leave the study while in Natsuhi's blind spot. However, that's right, there's a sound. We know there's a loud sound when the louder lock is released. Even if Natsuhi was in a blind spot inside the study, she wouldn't miss hearing that. Of course, she'd find it odd. We let me speak and let it be said that Natsuhi did not hear the sound of the door opening while in the room. The washroom and toilets are very close to the door. Even if they hadn't been, the auto lock always lets off such a massive sound. She'd be able to hear the sound no matter what. Natsuhi already spoke with Nerka and the others about the details of the previous night, making it quite clear that nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. Any arguments that relied on Natsuhi failing to hear the lock wouldn't work. Please allow me to speak once more. Kenzo entering or exiting through the door will not be permitted. Let it be said that this is a useless struggle. It is foolish. It's true I can't break through the red of that girl by the door. But what about you over there by the window? Turning his back to Gertrude, who claimed that the leaving through the door was impossible, Butler locked his gaze on Cornelia, who stood in front of the window. Make sure you hold that barrier of yours up tight. 'Cause you're going to be blasted away, okay? By now, Butler's target was clear. It was Cornelia. It was the window. He was going to smash his closed room from the window. Not expecting to be chosen as a target herself, Cornelia was overawed for just a second, but she quickly regained her composure. Armara cages, struggling, fleeing witches would directly challenge the barriers Cornelia set up. Such witches were always flying desperately on the brink of death. Please allow me to speak. You are Battler's target, Cornelia, as I ask you to be on your guard. Full God, have pity on this foolish lamb. I'm no sheep. The head of the Ushamian family is an eagle with the one wing. Don't think you can keep me shut up in a study forever with just a flimsy window like that. Starting from a low posture, both silent and supple, Battler ran forward like a wet leopard. This guy can't possibly mean to. This is, allow me to speak. There is no way to defeat my red. Know that your wish will not be granted. Cornelia thrust out both her arms and made a sign when she did a red barrier close in front of Battler. Know that your course is a fruitless one, Ushamiya Battler. Know that this window is sealed from the inside and Natsuhi did not help Kinzo escape. I'm not saying that Natsuhi helped Grandfather escape, but what if Grandfather snuck out keeping it a secret from Aunt Natsuhi? Well, why would Kinzo go out the window on his own? What better way to enjoy a drink on a twisted night than leaping through the rain-swept skies? But this is the third floor, right? It's impossible. Even if you jumped down a flight of stairs at least once in your life, right? The three swords is the thing for Kinzo. I wouldn't put it past him. I certainly wouldn't. That's ridiculous. Blue crabs appeared on Cornelius' barrier and it shuddered with the crisp sound. It was all far too quick. It looked almost as though she'd gotten out of the way by herself in fear of Battler. Endless 9. Magic resistant power. Endless 9. Cornelius saw me can't block it. Retreat. At the same time, the barrier shuttered. The window behind Cornelius' back was flung open. The curtains flustered for just an instant. Though it was filled all with rain, the heavens in the courtyard were spread out in front of them, a fitting exit for an eagle leaping from this closed room. Cornelia repaired the barrier. As you wish, Commander Delanor. Remember that you will not be allowed to break this. Cornelia quickly returned to her senses to set up another red barrier. However, this was her last one. Please allow me to speak. Let us accept for the time being that Kinzo escaped through the window. In that case, how did he lock the window which he could not be locked from the outside? The window was locked from the inside. Useless. Yeah, it's all useless. Kinzo Battler grinned. Did she think this feeble red could block the charge of Battler and Kinzo, the two family heads? As her grandfather jumped out the window, and Natsuhi probably noticed a slight draft. She then approached the window, realized it was wide open, then quickly closed it and locked it. Natsuhi couldn't have imagined that I slipped out the window. Yeah, so it's only natural that Natsuhi thought Kinzo was sleeping in bed. Now that Battler had found the answer, the red barriers were fragile than glass. The red magical wall of certainty has smashed again so easily that it disgraced the name of certainty itself. Unbelievable, right? The barrier was more firm than any Roanoke had ever used against Jessica, and yet it had been destroyed so easily. Though Battler was rushing fiercely and had almost reached Cornelia, she didn't step aside. Her still spirit worthy of the name, Eisern Jungfrau, didn't allow her to step aside. She took a charm from her pocket, placed it against the thin air, and made a sign. Then not red, but blue burned there. Though it was far more feral than a red barrier, it was her last method of resistance. You won't get through, you won't let me speak. Be it as it may, this is the third floor. However, could a wingless demon escape from the window? Know that you won't get through, you won't. Just put your whining on watch. This is the answer. Ah! Battler jumped. He burst through Cornelia and her blue barrier and knocked them away, and his body flew out the window through the darkness of the rainy sky. Man, my throat is scratchy. Woo-wee. The fragments of the blue barrier scattered beautifully adorning the surrounding air. The closed room has been smashed open. Battler flew out of the mansion. Through the sky above the rainy courtyard, all the raindrops became small round gems and were scattered through the air. Battler flew across the treasure box world of the exquisite stormy sky through the countless gems of rain that filled it. In the sky over the world frozen time, Delanor and Battler faced each other. A Battler who had smashed and flown out the window was like a knight leaping out of a white horse. Then Delanor was another knight who floated in the air waiting for him. In the air above the courtyard surrounded by the Ushamiya mansion and frozen in time, the true new head of the Ushamiya family and the disciple of heaven who would test them crossed paths. Well done. When you fall into the courtyard, whether you live or die, it won't change the fact that Kenzo could have defeated this closed room. You have thrown away your life and jumped. You are a martyr. Well done. You have smashed our closed room barrier. Splendid, Ushamiya Battler. However, I am the head Inquisitor of Heresy, Delenor A. Knox. I cannot allow you to escape out from under my nose. Now, at the end, allow me to honor the crossing swords with you. Sure, bring it on. This game is surprisingly unrelenting. In this world where the gems of rain fell slowly like large snowflakes on a snowy field, Delenor and Battler slowly crossed paths. It seemed slow, and yet it happened in a flash. Their gazes crossed the clash like lightning. And not confronted and not head on, and everything would be settled with a single strike. Blue and red crossed paths. Watch it shown beforehand that a blind spot existed within the study for Natsuhi. If it wasn't shown, the story would not be permitted. Nox is eighth. It is forbidden for the case to be resolved with clues that are not presented. Delenor's double strike with the blue and red as blades reached out to slice the Battler, but failed. Those long swords, which I never lost over the course of 100 battles, cut through empty air. When we entered the study, its structure was clearly described. Too bad for you. For the first time, expression showed on Delenor's face. It was a sudden smile. She had known about that long before. However, she still couldn't let him escape without attempting that single strike, not even with her reputation as an Inquisitor of Heresy on the line. She still crossed swords with Battler, even though she knew it would fail. Yes, I knew. With your answer, Nox's eighth is not violated. Here it comes with no hard feelings. Yes, come. And Battler's hand with a blade that shone red. That blade edged out the red truth. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kenzo's study was a small villa yet created inside the mansion. A study, a library, a place to sleep, a bathroom and washroom, and was divided into multiple rooms. It had already been shown, and it suggests that there could have been a blind spot somewhere within the room. Without any mercy, no, without any reluctance, which would have been dishonorable, the sword of red truth cut into Delenor. It could have beautifully hit my spear through the countless gems of rain that filled the sky. Well done. Time exploded into life. Both of them fell through the courtyard. One drifted down, the other tumbled through the air. Then there was a soft sound and dull thud. The first was the son of Battler landing gently in the courtyard. The second was the son of Delenor crouching down. After crouching down for a while, Battler slowly stood up. Though he had jumped down from the third floor, he had landed as lightly as though he had merely jumped over a fence. Battler! Beato leaned out of the study window looking to see if supposedly wingless Battler had landed safely. Beato, come on, jump, huh? The window is our way out, so jump. You aren't the kind of witch who could be locked up inside a closed room, right? The study was no longer a closed room. She could jump from here, escape from here. By now, the closed room that threatened to capture the witch and suffocate her had been destroyed. Yes, you too, Kenzo. Go. From the moment Battler showed his answer, my spirit had already escaped this room. Kenzo's form became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. The closed room barrier had dissolved, and the power that denies magic had scattered. Berito ran towards the window. That was the only exit from the closed room of this witch hunt. After glancing at the Tricer sisters and the subordinates of the Inquisitor of the Heresy, she readied her wound-covered body and ran towards the window just like Battler had done. She looked like Cinderella running as she heard the bell toll. There's no way we'll let you escape, Beatrice, illusion of the witch. Erica flew at Beato, trying to latch onto Beato as she dashed, but it was like trying to catch smoke as she landed face first on the floor. There's no way a human could catch a witch. For one such as her, without love, even touching Beato was impossible. Chester, of course, shoot the witch, shoot her dead. All of my men conflict, unable to fire. Allow me to speak. I had no barrier prepared that could block Battler's blue truth. Both Chester and 00 and Gertrude spoke with unbelievable calm voices. No one can stop them, not Battler, not Kenzo, not Beatrice. If these guys meant to escape my closed room, my theory, I'm the detective. Ferrito, Erica crossed, screaming and clutching at her head. The Great Golden Witch isn't gonna be defeated by something like that geezer's grubby study. It's still just the first twilight. I'll teach these newcomers your game isn't that easy. Just like Battler, Beato also flew. She drifted down in the rain treasure box, whirled into Battler's chest. Battler caught her with both arms as though catching a feather from an angel. It was like a knight catching the princess who had been locked up in a tower, like a beautiful picture I've seen in some fairy tale. Crap, I think I'm in love. Are all the Ushiromi family heads like this? If you were to write down an unprecedented feat of Ushiromi Kenzo, you would probably have an uproarious tale longer than all the grim wars and study put together. It seems the tale of the next head will be worth writing down as well. In fact, it already is being written. It's already a very, very long tale. The demons giggle on top of the roof holding umbrellas, and they quietly look down over the two in the courtyard. Ha 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 ha, you're not bad at all. I guess all your game's stuffing me up. And shocked Beto actually praised Battler as he held her in his arms. Battler laughed in his casual, carefree way. This is impossible. Erica looked down from the window and clenched her teeth, still clutching at her head. Still holding Beto in his arms, Battler grinned back. Erica, what? I'm not giving the riddle of the Golden Witch to you. I'll solve it. That riddle belongs to the two of us. Right, Beto? Indeed, my riddle is yo. When Butler laughed evilly, Beato's face turned uncharacteristically red, but even so she spoke while laughing loudly. My riddle is yours alone, assured me a Butler. I won't let anyone else solve it. He listened to her saying something like that. Butler snorted and amused that Beato said something so out of character, and so holding Beato in his arms, she spun around in the carnival walls. The falling gems of rain celebrated their victory over this trial. He jumped down from the third story and he's alright. He jumped down and escaped from this closed room. This is ridiculous. This isn't reasoning. It's insane. If Butler had been at least seriously injured and ridden in mud, Erica might still have had some ground to stand on. She might have been able to claim that Kenzo couldn't have jumped this with his old body and gotten away unscathed. However, Butler stood calmly in the courtyard looking at Erica with the dignity of the victor. Everyone, I'll ask one more time. This is impossible, right? There's no way a human could jump down from my third story and land unharmed. Is that right, everyone? Much less Kenzo's son jumping from the third floor of the stage. This isn't reasoning. Erica tried to get everyone's agreement and somehow turn things around, but their responses were no different from how they'd been a short while ago. No, it would be possible for Kenzo's son. I wouldn't put it past father. That's his father we're talking about. There's plenty of crazy stories about that man. Something like this wouldn't surprise me one bit. What? Is there something wrong with your heads, with your brains, people? At any rate, it looks like your closed room argument wasn't perfect. Not only the servants, but the family members also agreed. They all agreed that there was nothing strange about Kenzo jumping down from the third floor window. Just who in the world is this Ushiromi a Kenzo person? Well, I'll give you 60 points. Kenzo wouldn't have done it with a bit more flash in his younger days. It seems more tweaking. Oh, how much more would it be tweaked? Well, he might have jumped down with it in his arms. Got it. Next time I'll do that. If you think you can just try. Beato's voice grew very faint and she gulped. Then her body suddenly crumbled away into a cloud of gold butterflies. That's because many people have rushed up to the window that she'd been bathed with gauges filled with anti-magic toxin. Beato's body became invisible to them and melted into the air. So through their eyes appeared Battler was standing all alone out in the courtyard. Battler, you okay? It looks like he's fine, thank goodness. I have lost. In that case, for the benefit of those people in the study as well, deliver your final blow to me. Use your final blue truth to show how Kenzo escaped from the closed room of that study. There was no pain in Delenor's expression. Pleasure and pain never showed up in her face in the first place. However, she was only barely able to rise to her feet using her long sword as a crutch. She was so easy to guess how heavily she'd been damaged. And despite her lack of an expression, you could tell this was a loss she could accept. Battler and Delenor turned to face each other. Here I go. Yes, come. As already readying herself, Delenor quietly closed her eyes, but she still stood tall and maintained her air of dignity. This is my blue truth. The blue power gathered. Battler slowly approached Delenor, then he faced the rainy sky and yelled out the blue truth. Ushiromi Kenzo escaped from the study through the window, and Natsuki couldn't see him. Natsuki didn't notice and locked the window in this way, and Natsuki saw grandfather go to bed. Yet grandfather was able to escape from the study without contradicting the lock of the window and the door sealed by the receipt. I just demonstrated that it was physically possible for him to escape. Therefore, this battle is over. The blue wedge flashed through the courtyard along with a blue ball of lightning roaring down towards Delenor's forehead, as she stared up at the sky. Forehead, face, same thing. Beato's game isn't forgiving. It's doubtful whether the classic patterns of the mystery genre even work here. Your swordsmanship isn't bad, but you have to be a bit more flexible in your thinking. A massive blue wedge that looked like a pillar was above Delanor's forehead. It stopped with its tip just slightly touching her. It didn't run through her. It made no mark longer than being poked with a pencil. When Butler snapped his fingers, the blue wedge shuddered and became a shower of translucent gems. Little drops of rain that poured down over the courtyard. Delanor sat down in a gay sort of way. Amidst the thunder and rain, the successor to the Ushamiya family headship faced the people staring down from the study and spread his arms wide. Welcome to Beato's on my game. Welcome, Furuto, Erica. I'm using Ushamiya Battler. Good, truly good. I'll chew it to bits. This riddle with the witch. All the way deep into its guts while it's still alive. Battler and Beato looked calmly up at Erica, who couldn't contain her evil laugh. Oh, this is good stuff. Erica, that was so lame. Yeah. Lady Birkenstyle, my apologies. That look on your face is so incredibly laughable that I could smash it and put a frame around it. My double is so pathetic, lame, yeah. Bathed in the sneers of Birkenstyle, a being who was like a mother to her. Erica was so ashamed that it was looked as though she had chewed her lower lip to pieces. Someday I'll definitely go out. Ushamiya Battler, Beatrice, Ushamiya Natsuhi. This riddle is ours. I won't let anyone get in the way, Beatrice. Yes. Woo! Okay, guys, I'm definitely ending the video here. Over 2 friggin' hours. It's past midnight. I'm thirsty. I'm tired. My eyes burn. My throat burns. I ain't got no water anywhere nearby. So I'm just gonna try and upload this and go to bed, guys. I did not expect this to be a 2-hour long video. I just got around to my usual hour stopping point. I just never could really find a good time to stop. It just kept on going and whatnot. But now, yeah, I better save just in case the game crashes. There's been a time or two when the first Umineko game of the game crashed, and I was like pretty far in. Anyways, yeah, I'm saving. I'll see you guys next time.